I cannot be bothered to talk to stupid people. It's as simple as that. It's been going on ever since the Ecuadorian monster decision, Caleb Plant, failed to deliver on the promise that he made. And, I see that many of his supporters, because that's really what this live is about. I really want to section off addressing idiots and trolls and actually talking about the subject at hand, because I have a lot of thoughts on a Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez fight. And I actually want to save those thoughts. Antonio, what it do? What it do? I actually want to save those thoughts for the next episode of the relay. I was going to try to get another episode out, but I was like, no, I'll just freestyle it tonight. Just go live, talk about a couple of things. But the main thing I notice about a lot of these people is that they want to argue their opinions to me. They want to argue their opinions to me. And, bro, I don't care what your opinion on boxing is, man. I don't care who you think wins that fight. I don't care why you think he didn't knock him out, whatever reasons you have. I don't care about any of that. What y'all need to do is make yourself a channel, upload videos to it, and tell someone who cares, The disconnect about social media, which I often highlight, is that it enables people that would otherwise not speak to each other to speak to each other. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad. It's bad when you have people volunteering things to you that you didn't ask for. I don't care who you think wins Canelo versus Benavidez. I don't care. Your opinions have no influence on me. It's a matter of fact that I'm smarter than you are, faster, stronger, all those different things. Yes, I am. And I can't be bothered with you. I cannot be bothered to argue with you. I can't be bothered to argue with lesser minds. For what? What do I get out of it? Unless you're going to come on here and let me do it live where I can make some money, I don't need to know what you think about any fight. Simple as that, And I'm on social media, and it's just for my followers, really. I'm on social media, and I will post some takes occasionally, though most of what I think I reserve for YouTube. I was talking about the fight, and I get all these philosophers and these Eddie Futch guys that think I want to know what they must think I want to know what I don't care what you think about any fight that ever happened on this planet. I don't care. You know what I mean? You feel in some type of way because Canelo knocked that same dude out, and the Mexican monster, he's the Mexican monster because Mike Tyson said so. That's all they could tell me. Well, Mike Tyson? Well, bro, that's awesome, bro. I mean, seriously, that's great. That is awesome. I don't care. That's a concept that your generation don't have. Y'all don't have that fuck it. You don't have that I don't care in you. Like, y'all don't have it. That's why y'all be volunteering opinions to people that don't care about you. Why are you telling me what you think about that fight? I don't care. I didn't ask you. Lerone, what it do? Sliding counter, what it do? Fluffy, what it do? Michael Giles, what it do? Órale! Running Perez, que lo que manín. A mí no me importa lo que esta gente está pensando. There's people that I care what they think. I care about what Boxing Beats and Rhymes thinks about a fight. I hold him in very high esteem. I care what my man D-Style says. I care what Maestro might say. I care about my Capricornian brother from another mother, Base the Kid. I care about what those guys think about a boxing match. I hold them in high esteem. Michael Montero, Steve Kim. Great minds, great punditry. That's what I see when I see those guys. Great punditry, great pundits. There's people out there, I care what they think. But the guys on Twitter, oh, no, I don't know why they're talking to me, bro. Why? Every time somebody comments on my shit, and I'm like, depending on who it is, of course. I don't know why are you talking to me, bro? I don't care. And they'll hit you with oh, you're biased. You just want people to agree with you. Yes, generally, yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm biased. I only want people only people I want talking to me are people that agree with me. Other than that, I don't care. I don't care. Okay? And if I'm biased, stop listening to me. If I'm biased, stop following me. You shouldn't be following me on Twitter, talking to me if I'm biased. You shouldn't be here now watching me in this wonderful Aeropostale hoodie. So I love Aeropostale. It's one of my favorite brands. But you shouldn't be watching me if I'm biased, right? If my takes are shit and I'm biased, then what idiot are you to be watching me? You know? And they'll say, yeah, your takes are shit. Hey, idiot, I picked David to win the fight. Tell me, which is my shitty take? When I told you that David would win, or when I told you that Tim Tszyu would win, or when I told you that O'Shaquie Foster would win, or when I told you that Sinisi Estrada would win, or when I told you that Alicia Baumgartner would win? Which is my shitty take? Please tell me. It's my shitty take. You idiots. Y'all wish somebody cared what the hell y'all think, man. I swear to God. Y'all really wish somebody gave a rat's furry fucking ass what you think about anything. Stop talking to me, bro. I don't care what you think about that fight. I don't care what you think about yesterday's fight. I don't care what you think about next weekend's fight. I don't care. I only care what Michael Giles thinks. It's my brother from another mother in Canada. He's a goddamn alcoholic. He got some good boxing takes. It's my man Yimmy. Funny how Canelo can do no right. Benavidez just beat a guy on points who Canelo slumped as an undefeated champion. How does this make sense? It doesn't. Because it's coming from people that don't make sense. It comes from weak, emotionally childish people. That they want to argue with me about their opinion. Listen, you morons. If I argue your opinion with you, you know what happens at the end? Nothing. You can't change my mind. You're not smart enough. And I can't change your mind because you're too stupid. So there's no point in us talking. You know? There's no point. I just want to fan the flame a little bit. Here's this thing. I'm just trying to fan the flame a little bit. I do want to piss people off because I know for some reason all these people that think that my takes are bad, even though they're usually pretty accurate, I said Caleb's going to start off all right. He's going to gas out. He's going to start getting hit. David's going to take over. I said that would happen. But my takes are shitty. Okay, then stop watching me. It's not hard. Watch somebody else. There is a high concentration of boxing channels, especially now, here on YouTube, and boxing accounts on Twitter. Follow one of them. Don't follow me. The hell you want to know what I think for? You know? I want to get my man Coach Malachi on, so I don't need 10 people backstage. This link is for Coach Malachi. All right? The chat is not open to everybody yet, so it's only for Coach Malachi. Going to try to mitigate the action because a lot of times I'll have 10 people up here and all 10 of them will be trying to talk at the same time. I get a lot of complaints about that. I may have to start limiting the number of people that I allow on a panel if you don't check yourselves. If you hear somebody talking, don't be having a whole conversation in the background by yourself because then can't nobody hear nobody. You know? And, you know, they want to argue about David. It's almost like they want to justify the reason that they feel the way they feel to me when I don't need to justify why I feel the way I feel to anyone. We have the coach in the building. The coach.
Hey, can you hear me, Jules?
I can hear you, bro. That dude ain't no monster, bro. He ain't no
Hey,
monster.
man, the Mexican monster.
He's a Mexican monster. You know, I had a guy tell me a couple of hours ago, a couple of minutes ago, that Canelo only beats softies, and I'm like, then if Canelo only beats softies, then how come David couldn't knock out that softie? Oh well, fights is different, man. Get up, see this type of stupid shit. I don't have time for. If Canelo is
Mm.
only good for knocking off softies, then David should have finished that man in the first half of the fight because that's all Canelo fight, right? Softies.
You, this is my thing, right? I can't get caught up with what these fans say about, what Canelo knocks out softies. David Benavidez is not Mexican enough to fight Canelo. Like this, none of that has anything to do with boxing. You
That's so
got one
true.
group that you got one group that don't like Canelo. You got a group of Canelo fans that don't like David Benavidez. And my thing is, I don't care about none of that. I'm not gonna count for neither fighter. I'm not Mexican. Last time I checked, and I'm not trying to, create some kind of narrative. My thing is styles make fights. Canelo knocked out Plant. David Benavidez wasn't able to knock him out. David Bennett, it seemed like Caleb Plant game plan was to when he got on the inside close was to hold and tie him up. He did that effectively. The fight turned out exactly the way I thought it was going to turn out. Similar to what you said. I thought that I picked David Benavidez to knock out Caleb Plant between round 9 and 11. He almost did, but he didn't. Almost don't count for never horseshoes and marbles. Uh, Benavidez, I mean Caleb Plant took some hell of a shots in that fight, especially in the second half of the fight. And I knew that he was going to fade, and he faded. He couldn't. He wasn't moving around anymore.
Oh, shit.
Probably like after that ninth round, and he was just taking he was just taking punishment. Um, but my thing is that's what's going on. You got one group of fans. We hate Benavidez, and we don't want to see Canelo fight him, and that's what I have a problem with
Same.
because
I would rather one at a time. I would
Okay.
rather that he do fight him. I've said this many times that I'm not interested in a second B-ball fight personally. I don't know that it would go
Mhm,
any different in a second fight. I would
mhm.
actually prefer in September if it was David. I'm going with Canelo to win confidently. If by some chance they do it, I'm fairly confident Canelo beats this guy. But what I
He
don't
can't beat
like
him.
what I don't like about it is that they try to suck you into their world of arguing bullshit, you know. And I tell them, I try to be cool about it. Like, look, bro, if you got David, just rock with David. What are you arguing with me for? You got David, right? You not
Yeah.
gonna change my mind. You know, I remember a lot of guys, 2 weeks ago. Listen, I like Tony Harrison, I really do. But I knew based on I really do. But I knew based on styles, he ain't
Yeah.
winning this fight. I knew that. Ray Vargas, unbeaten guy, solid. But I knew
Yeah.
not beating no Shockey Foster. I'm not going to sit here arguing about some shit that ain't happened. What's the point? What's the versus?
Hey, Jules, I wanted Tony to win, but when I gave my fight breakdown analysis, this is what I said the day before. I say, man, Tony Harrison, he going in the first, maybe the first. He's a great boxer, fight off the back foot very well. I say, but after that sixth round, no, I said round 9, he starts to fade, and he doesn't have a chin. He can't move around anymore. And lo and behold, I think he got stopped in the 10th round, ninth to 10th round.
Around there, yeah.
And and I'm like, man, I wanted him to win, but hey, I broke down his kryptonite, and I knew that every time Tony Harrison got beat, he lost to pressure fighters. They stopped him and knocked him out.
Like
I said that.
clockwork, like
Yeah,
clockwork. Willie Nelson, Jared Hurd, Tim Zoo. It's like it's not that he's a bad fighter. It's that style. It's not good for him. That style don't do him no favors. Now I'm gonna go to Bavik. Is that how I say your name, bro? Bavik?
Yeah, that's correct.
Go ahead, bro. What are your thoughts?
Well, I still want to see Canelo David more than Bivol too, because one, that Bivol first fight was an outclassman. Okay, like I like Canelo. I've been watching him for a long time. That was not a close fight. First of all, I'm judged. I like everybody, and to be honest, I more want to see just so these Canelo haters who are just hopping onto the Benavidez train because first they use Plant. First they So before Canelo even got to 168, they said, "Oh, he'll never fight Saunders because of the slight movement." Remember all that shit?
Oh God, yes, bro. I have screenshots of guys who said he wouldn't fight Saunders and he wouldn't fight Plant, and then it turned he wouldn't fight Plant into he won't beat. I literally have screenshots stockpiled to use them whenever I need to use them. And I'm like, bro, like, there's no point in arguing with people like that because you're just gonna move the goalposts. So I'm not gonna argue about it. I'm gonna say my piece and I'm gonna keep it moving.
Even Teddy Atlas, right? After he fights Saunders, I was listening to actually paid attention to his podcast at this time. He said he would not fight Plant. He would let's see him fight Plant. Let's see him fight Charlo Benavidez, and he's not gonna fight Andrew, right? Then after he fights Plant, starts saying, "Oh, this guy he's just a belt holder, whatever." I'm just like, bro, I can go back to these are your own fucking words. I'm not making this shit up out of thin air. Like, it's one thing, Twitter trolls. I don't have the patience to deal with these people anymore. It's busy season with accounting. I do not have patience or mental capacity to deal with these people at this time of the year. But we're talking about people who are supposed to be so-called experts. Okay, even then, Canelo Benavidez 1 versus 2 in the division. I'd rather see that September and probably do more business because September 16th is Mexican Independence Day. That's their day, and that's a Saturday this year.
Mm-hmm.
You can market that shit.
No, you can. My thing is, look, if I I'll do a video. I did a video about what we saw last night, which is why I kind of want to use this live to focus on the trolls more than the actual subject because I want to reserve my thoughts on the subject for the next episode. But I did a video about it, and I talked about what I saw, and then I get the guys that's butthurt in the comments, and I'm like, bro, am I lying when I say he couldn't knock him out? Don't talk to me about Kenny Bayless because hitting and holding is normal. Klitschko did it for 9 years, hitting and holding.
I bet on David by knockout. So
he held 3 belts. He held 3 belts, hitting and holding. Hit jab, jab, clinch. Jab, jab, that's normal. If you knew I don't know if these guys knew the boxing or whatever.
He does it. He's literally the undisputed champ from doing this shit. It's jab, jab, and hold.
Jab, jab, hold. He's called Klitschko because he jab, jab, and hold. That's what he would do. So hitting and holding is a strategy. Do we like it as fans? No, I don't like it, but I know that people do it. That if you got a guy, he's real good on the inside, and you don't want to trade with him, hold him. Hold him. That's what you got to do.
Andre Ward literally made a career out of it. First of all, not even look, Devin Haney literally did that shit June 4th, 2022.
And you know why I don't get mad at it? Because it's your job to create space. If you can't push him off you, then you push off him to create space, have that pocket to be able to throw. It ain't ever been different. So the fact they're like, oh, Kenny Bayless. Yo, y'all told me this guy is a monster, bro. And all y'all talking to me about is high butt Kenny Bayless. That's all they talking about. High butt fucking cat. She was like, you gotta blame big booty Kenny, but bro, come on, man. Y'all told me this dude is a monster. Why y'all keep talking to me about Kenny Bayless? If he a monster, Kenny don't come into it, bro. Seriously, it don't. All right, this dude is not a monster. I see a slow-footed, flat-footed plotter who don't have much of a jab, which is why if he would have jabbed his way in the way Artur does it, which is beautiful, by the way, that's what a real elite level pressure fighter looks like. He'll throw 2 short jabs that you can't counter. He's not trying to hit you with them, by the way. He's just getting you to do this. And while you do this to protect yourself, move to the body. Uppercut up the middle. Because that's what the jab is for. Whereas what I seen Benavidez doing, he'll throw a college frat boy punch. Caleb will get under the punch, come up top, hold, turn, get out of there. Over and over and over. I'm like, bro, that's why that's happening. You not jabbing, bro. Because you're not that guy.
And then his CompuBox numbers, they're all through the roof. Jab, he's in the top, whatever. In jab, I'm just like, you have to look at competition. You can't just bring up, there are guys, a lot of, look at fucking Bivol, though. His numbers damn near got better when he fought better opponents. Now that's what I wanted to see. Because this was
Let me address this. You can't keep blaming high butt Kenny because David ain't got no jab. You keep bringing up high butt Kenny and his high butt That ain't the reason
Nah,
David ain't got a
bro.
jab, Cat.
That's not the reason at all, because his jab was actually non-existent. Sometimes he threw his jab as a backhand when he was in the orthodox stance. I don't know how the fuck you do that.
Well, all the good pressure fighters, all the good ones, whether you talking about my childhood hero, Mike Tyson, or you talking about modern day legends like Chocolatito, they got that short jab that they not really trying to hit you with it. They just trying to get in. They going to use it to get in. And then once they get in, all the other stuff start to happen. Whereas with David, old Superman, Batman versus Superman punches.
It's funny, Jules?
All the dumb shit.
You know what's funny, Jules, in chat and everybody on the panel? We used to call David Lemieux, he's limited, he's this, he's that. That's true. But David Lemieux used the jab to get on the inside and stop.
Yeah.
David
Low double, triple jab.
My little double, triple jab that had nothing on it. His fucking right hand is down. They get on the inside, then they start their work. This guy didn't have any jab. All he did was walk to the guy with a high guard.
Yo, literally, bro. Like he was just.
Let me tell you something. Dimitri Bivol is not the biggest 175 at all. And mind you, do you think no, it's not do you think. Gilberto Ramirez did not get sidewindy with Dimitri Bivol because you know why? He had a jab on him and he kept the center of the ring. So if Caleb Plant is whatever y'all think he is, why the fuck? Okay, that's Coach
Sorry about that.
No. That overhead guy, he's a piece of shit. But like I was saying, it's not Coach Malachi. It's the guy doing his job. Such a piece of shit he is. But hey, Dimitri Bivol used the jab, and mind you, this is a bigger guy than Benavidez, and is a southpaw. Which southpaws prototypically give everybody a problem. So if y'all talking about Caleb Plant, right? Caleb Plant couldn't even put a dent in dude. Let's keep it a buck.
That's the other thing, Chris, that you talking about Caleb. Look, I'm not trying to knock Caleb because I think he did a good I do think he did a good job, had a good game plan. But my whole thing was, even if you got the right game plan, you don't got the gas tank to execute it successfully. You don't have that. And I maintained that, and that's what happened. But my thing is that it's not even the boxing shit to me. It's that these guys want to argue about David. Bro, if you going with David, just pick the motherfucker and shut the fuck up. And then leave me alone after that. That's all you got to do.
If you're going to go with David, just say, I am dysfunctional. I don't like boxing. I like what I like. I like the nonsense. I like the conflict. I like the bullshit. Just say that and just...
And I'm going to say this to Kat. Kat, we from the same city. I've supported you for many years. We sold a lot of cocaine. And
stop that.
And we done a lot of things, and I still believe in you, Kat. But you bugging with this Benavidez propaganda. It has to stop, and it has to stop now. All right, I understand all of that, but it has to stop. All right, he is not that guy, and you need to understand that, and we all need to understand that, and it's that simple.
I understand that to my bones, dog. I understand that to my bone marrow. What the fuck are we doing?
Let me address Mr. Punch. You do realize, Mr. Punch, that I picked David to win, right? This is the silly shit I'm talking about. This is the silly. You're mad. I'm mad I was right, you bozo. You fucking idiot.
So why do you have to mess up a good American Psycho thing with the level of this lack of intellect that you have? Like, come on.
I don't know, bro. I don't understand.
No, come on. But let me. I just wanted to cook for a little bit. What I got from last night's card, the Benavidez Plant card. Benavidez, if he goes up to 75, he's food. We all know that.
Yeah, he ain't it.
Yeah, Caleb Plant, I don't know what he has to do. He's a talented boxer for 6 rounds until he gets hit.
He Bogdan, bro. He's Bogdan, bro.
That's a fact, bro. I don't know because he's actually a pretty good fighter, man. He's always been a good fighter. I just think, at the elite level, he doesn't have elite level gas tank. He's world level. Let's not say that, but elite world level where you could become a legend and all that good shit. He's not. He's never going to be that because
Yeah, he's not gonna be that.
his gas tank don't have that. And let me tell you something too about boxers against pressure fighters or power punchers. Hey, Harold Graham got knocked out cold by Julian Jackson. The reason why I bring this up is this: Harold Graham, known to be a boxer, right? Walked to Julian Jackson, crowded him, made sure that Julian Jackson couldn't get full extension on those punches. Hey, at the end of the day, Caleb Plant needed to do what he needed to do. Was this: draw a line in the sand and make sure you walk him down. I'm not saying become the puncher. Put combinations together, step off to the side, put combinations together, and not move so much. Because at the end of the day, he does have a little bit of power. I don't know. It's not at the elite level, but he does have some power. So this is what he needed to do. Draw a line in the sand. Now, my other takeaways from that card. Why the fuck did they put Jesus Ramos and Joey Spencer in the same fucking ring? Dog, I was looking at the photos, the weigh-in photos prior to the fight. Did y'all not see how big Jesus Ramos the fuck was? His back was, what the hell? Like, they set that kid up for failure. I know that kid was chopping at the bit. I want Jesus Ramos. But bro, he spars Bud, and that's been Bud's chief spar partner for the upcoming fight he might have with Errol Spence. You see how big that kid was? Joey has heart, and I think this Joey's going to learn from this. But what the fuck was that? Like, who's matching your prospect like that, B? Because let's keep it above. Joey Spencer, he hasn't shown me that he has explosive power. He hasn't shown me that, he can knock people fuck out like that. At a certain level, he was knocking out people like he was supposed to knock out. But, did you not see how big that motherfucker was, Jules? Like, why they match him up like that?
They cashed him out. Now, what I want to address is what I see in the comments. I think it's Lil Spites, I think is his name. Listen, bro, you like a fighter. You come in here to talk to me about a fighter that hasn't fought in like 2 years. Like, for real. The last time you seen that motherfucker in the ring was like close to 2 years ago. I don't know what the fuck you high on, bro. Like, legit. And I don't care. I don't care what you want to quote. I don't care what you want to mention, because the facts show they offered Charlo to fight. I don't care if you don't believe him. If you don't believe him, you just need to tell somebody who gives a fuck, to be real with you, that you high on these fighters that ain't got no resume. You telling me that Canelo resume is bad, but you over here talking about David, who just fought a guy Canelo knocked out. You don't make sense, bro. Now let me read the super chat. Saludos, Al Heyman is trash, but that yesterday's card was solid. How many pay-per-views do you think they sold? The stadium looked sold out and had a lot of energy. I'm going to say, I think it could have done around 225 to 250. That number wouldn't surprise me. I think they did around there. Piracy is still a problem, so it's hard to say it did more than 300,000, but we'll see. Edwin Castillo says, they say Dukes was patient and annihilated Plant. Listen, man, listen, they can say what they want. Ain't nobody listening to that shit. Like, can say what you want, man. Like, I ain't coming to you telling you this shit. You feel me? I'm in my own lane. You come in here to tell me your thoughts. You know what I mean? And that dude is not it, bro. That's all I see. I see a old regular that walks forward in a straight line in a high guard and don't jab. That's what I see.
You know what's funny? Antonio Margarito's a better pressure fighter than him. And mind
There's a lot of pressure fighters better than him. It's not just Margarito. It's a lot of guys that's better than him, because he not working off the most important punch in boxing. And I'm sure we all know what that is. The jab. Where's the jab? You want to know why Caleb was holding him? Why he was able to keep holding him for 5 rounds? Because he's not showing no jab. You just walking forward in a high guard. Then you let a big old swooping punch go that he could get under, and what he do? He come up and he hold. Then he'll turn you and get out. This is repeating that for 5 rounds.
A good pure boxer would give him Billy Joe Saunders, a in shape prime Billy Joe Saunders. Not now, but maybe a couple years ago, he'd beat David.
Bro,
he'd beat both of them.
Man, I think
both of them easy.
I
Yeah,
think David is gonna be the canvas in which Canelo paints his Mona Lisa because after watching that fight and I watched it again today, like man, I think he's gonna fuck David up to be honest.
so do I. I see.
I
I
think
don't
so
know
too.
about
Exactly.
one at a time, fellas. I get a lot of complaints about 3, 4 guys talking at the same time. Now, to Julio's point, I do agree. I already had him beating I already had him beating David, but yesterday's fight is sold it even more for me to like. I don't know about a knockout, but I do think there'll be a knockdown. There may be more than one because this
I,
dude, I see from what I seen, this dude could be caught cold.
I was thinking maybe more. Yeah, I think either a late stoppage or a
'Cause this
technical
dude,
beatdown.
I see from what I seen, this dude could be caught cold.
I was thinking maybe more. Yeah, I think either a late stoppage or
Who Mike is that?
He got the echo.
but because like bro, unlike Caleb Plant who has the worst shoulder roll in history, and I think he proved that again yesterday. Like Canelo's defense is actually really good. His parries, head movement, catching punches. Like I think that the distance manipulation, the active high guard, the feints. Like Caleb had him frozen for the first 5 rounds. Easy. It was easy.
Like those was not hard rounds to score neither. And it's like, look, I don't want to knock Caleb because I think he put forth a solid effort yesterday, so I don't want to knock him. But that's what I anticipated. That Caleb is actually more skilled than David. Yeah, he's more skilled. He does things better than Caleb. I mean, than David. The problem he has is he don't have the gas tank to maintain. The pace of the fight is going to get to him, and that's important. Like a part of being elite, it's not just the application. It's not just, oh, you got a good jab and you parry well and you roll punches off the shoulder well. Another thing that defines eliticism is conditioning, is physicality. You got to be able to last. You know what I mean? Guys like Ward, Floyd, Manny, these is guys, they keep it going late into a fight. They keep it going. Caleb is not that guy.
I gotta ask you a question. So you be my real question is this. It might sound funny because as we can see, Caleb Plant really, he's in shape year round. Doesn't look like he's an alcoholic. Doesn't look like he does crazy shit. So you think Jordan Plant is fucking the stamina out of him?
Nah, I think
dog, like this ain't no way.
Nah, I don't think that. No, I don't think, like I really just think that look, I don't know what kind of peds he's on because I think everybody's on peds. I think everybody's on peds to be real with you. And I just think he needs better peds, to be real with you. If I had to put my finger on it, because the way he fades is characteristic of his fights. And that tells me that they're not doing nothing about that. It's characteristic for him to fade in a fight. It's really like clockwork. All you got to do is watch and wait. So if that's still going on, like, bro, you done fought Uskateki, you done fought Canelo, and we still seeing this thing. Like, it's still going on. That means that nothing has been done about it. That's what I see. That, like, you still got the same issue that you always had, and it'll always be, like, when you step up, in other words, it's always going to be that way then until you do something about it. It's always going to be.
But it's not just like I agree, like, but it's not just about the gas tank. Like his defense is legitimately terrible. Like there are points where, yeah, like David would just walk in with a high guard and he'd get hit less than the motherfucker with the shoulder roll. Like to me, that's one of the gravest sins of boxing right now is using a shoulder roll when you don't really know how to use it.
I agree. I'm gonna let go ahead, Leo, what's your thoughts?
I agree.
I love it.
This is what I have to say about David Benavidez. There's one good thing about David Benavidez that I saw on this fight. I think David Benavidez is a really, really strong guy because I was watching the fight and I got the impression that maybe not at the beginning of the fight, but in the second half of the fight, I saw Caleb Plant getting fucked up in the clinch. I mean, Caleb Plant was doing a good job holding and jabbing and throwing some punches on Flores, but after the second fight, he could not hold the clinch because Benavidez is too strong for that, and he was actually Caleb Plant was getting hit a lot in the clinch. So that's the one thing I can say I was impressed about his performance. But besides that, he doesn't have anything.
His finishing is terrible.
No, it's not even that. The reason that Caleb Plant was executing his game plan in the way he did is because in the middle range, David Benavidez is not elite. He cannot do anything at middle range. Even when he has the height and the reach to execute and put some punches together, he doesn't have the feet. He doesn't know how to judge distance.
Now let me say this. This is what I've been saying the last 3 weeks. They'll see him throw the same uppercut at a David Lemieux, and they think that's a combination. That's not a combination. Like, it's not. The only reason you landing that punch is because that guy ain't no good. That's why you landing that. That guy's not moving he's not doing nothing. So you could literally sit there doing that, and they going to, they'll see him do the shit that he did to Porky Medina, the shoe shine. They'll think that, look at that shit. It's like you saw at mid-range, he get confused. Why is he confused? He not jabbing. Like, you got to jab, bro. Like, you do have to jab, you know what I mean? And I see a lot of the elite level pressure fighters. What's consistent with them is a short jab, a short double jab, or a short triple jab. And it's not the same as a crunk jab, like a stiff jab. It's a little, let me get in here jab. And they're not really trying to hit you with it. They just use that to get you to do this. They use that to get you to keep your guns holstered so they can step into their jab. And once they're there, they'll pop you to the body, or they'll put an uppercut up the middle, or they'll throw like a chop and right, get around the guard. That's a short jab would have prevented a lot of that holding. But you just coming forward. That's all you do. You just coming forward. So
let me say this. I have seen some David Benavidez fight, and David Benavidez, and in some opportunities, does this. He has the guy in the ropes. He throws a fully from 6-7 punches, and then when something comes to him, when the opponent is about to counter, he pulls out of the punch, and that's good. But people see that shit, and they think that he's Joel Calzaghe or something.
Bruh.
Don't you realize who is fighting?
But
Don't you realize? Don't you realize it's Porky Medina and David Lemieux?
Exactly. But these guys want to. I guess what gets me is that, look, all of us are settled into our opinions, right? We all are. All of us are settled into our opinions, and we all more or less have an idea of how we feel about a potential Canelo fight. So to me, there's nothing to argue about, and that's what I notice about the younger guys or the Benavidez fans. You want to argue about what you feel, and what you refuse to accept is, I don't give a fuck how you feel. I don't care who you.
To your point, Jules, like, it seems like, like after watching that fight, it does seem like David's only notoriety is his fucking supposed rivalry with Canelo. Like, that's the only reason you can believe he beats Canelo at this point is because you hate Canelo. Like, technically, he's all wrong.
They don't love David. For starters, let me say this: if David said tomorrow that he's going to DAZN, do they still love David?
He's the flavor of the month, just like Black.
And that's the thing I want to talk about. Let's say Canelo can't make this Bivol fight, and everybody wants David next. Like, David's not going to go to DAZN.
He's not.
What's going to happen there? He just
I'll tell you what happens.
He just re-signed for 3 more fights, isn't it?
Yeah, he just signed before this fight, right before this fight, in between the Lemieux fight and this fight. He signed another multi-fight deal with the PBC, which is fine. I don't care, right? But the thing is, if they make him an offer, I'll tell you how it goes. He'll reject it, and they'll say, oh, it's not enough money, or we want it on a bigger platform. These idiots will go with it, even though that's the easiest way to make the fight, unless we forget, who's the A side? Canelo. If he wants you to go to DAZN, then go to DAZN. It's that simple. It's not complicated. If you want him, go to DAZN. And I promise you, he won't take the fight. I promise you.
The only way this fight gets made is if, they call for the mandatory and then it goes to press bid. Then Matchroom will pick it up, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the only way this fight gets made.
Hey, Jules.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you talk.
Look,
This is my thing. I agree with you 100% because that was a factor that came up as well. If and when, think I heard an interview with David Benavidez say he's been the mandatory for the past two fights. So if he's been a mandatory for the past two fights, just like Canelo was fighting his mandatory with John Ryder, I feel that if that opportunity presents itself, he should fight his other mandatory, David Benavidez. I'm not getting into Team Canelo. I'm not Team Canelo. I'm not Mexican. I'm not getting into Team Benavidez. I'm just being honest with you. And I never thought highly of Caleb Plant. I used to always make micro of him. I called him Vanilla Ice, Ice Baby, telling me bad. He was never that good. I was saying Canelo will not do that when he fought him. He was just a hype job. He looked like a boxing John B.
Yo, that's a
And
fact.
so,
That's a fact.
the LDBC the one hyped this dude up. So,
Honestly, yeah, like it's the usual suspects that hype him up.
My thing is, I agree with all that. If David Benavidez gets the opportunity to fight Canelo's an A side. Do whatever Canelo tell you to do, just like them guys said with other fighters. Take whatever we give you, do what he tell you to do. If he refuses to go to the zone, guess what? There's nothing else to say about that.
And I'll tell you why, Coach. This already played out in late 2019. It's already played out. I saw it. The first champion that Canelo approached as super middleweight was Caleb Plant. Caleb said, no, I need more time. All right, I got you. So then he ends up fighting Callum Smith. He goes back to him in 2020. No, matter of fact, yeah, this was 2020, not 2019. He goes back to him in 2021. Yo, ready to fight? No. He ends up fighting Billy Joe Saunders. And then, everything is done. He's got 3 of the 4 belts. Caleb's is the last one. DAZN made a play for the fight. They made an offer for the fight. Caleb wouldn't go over. And that's when all the stuff about Bivol started. Then we might fight Bivol. And then, Canelo said, nah, you know what? Fuck it. I want a 1-fight deal. I'll go over there, 1-fight deal, no strings attached, $40 million up front. They did the fight. But you already saw with Caleb that, bro, send this dude over there. What is y'all doing? That dude is not nobody. Send him over there. So if they didn't want to send Caleb, they surely not going to send David, bro. They're not.
Especially if it does good numbers, like they really don't have anything else doing good numbers right now, except for maybe Tank, if you want to consider that within the American context. But yeah, I think they might have to protect David.
They don't listen. I'm going to tell you the truth. Maybe David. I don't know the man. Maybe David, as a fighter, he want that fight. I'm not even going to be mean to him because he seems like a nice kid for what it's worth. I just don't like his father, but he seems like a good kid. I don't mind him.
A little bit of coke won't hurt nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, but he seems like a good kid. My thing is that his people don't want a Canelo fight, bro. I'm people think I'm joking, and I'm not. Like, Samson doesn't want that fight. Samson wants a fighter that he could continue to send out there and make money. He doesn't really want to gamble. When they asked him about Demetrius Andre, the man asked for $10 million, bro. I asked him about Andre in the spaces when I was talking to him in the spaces, and he tried to make it like, oh, Andre, bro, you asked for $10 million though, bro.
For a blown up 154? For a blown up 154?
Think about it.
Yeah, you're saying 10 million. What you're really saying is you don't want the fight.
You asking for the same purse that Caleb got to fight Canelo for Andre, bro? You come on now, like, ain't nobody stupid out here, bro. And I feel that what they really want is for the network, for the banner, for the management and the team. It's more beneficial to them to have David fighting other people than to send him out to do that fight. Because if they send him out to do that fight, they don't know for sure what's going to happen. Maybe David wants it. I don't know him. He doesn't seem like a bad kid, to be real with you. I like him more than his father. But I see the management. They don't want that fight.
So my thing is, okay, this is my whole thing. I can't. I'm really sick of both fan bases, to be honest with you. There's a segment of fans on both sides. And it's the same shit. No matter which fighter it is, you can interchange them. My thing is, if now this is the question I want to ask you: do you want to see Canelo destroy this flat-footed,
Hell
street-called
yeah.
out Mexican? Okay, so
Hell
you
yeah.
want to see that fight?
Hell, listen, bro.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. I want to see.
I've said this.
I don't
I
want to hear
think this is what
barriers.
the Benavidez fans don't understand. I've said this 100 times. I would prefer in September David Benavidez. I don't know if he can beat Bivol, but I'm very confident he can beat David. Oh yeah.
Man,
One thing that's been adamant, one thing that
But
you've been
Jules,
saying, Jules, we've all been saying is all these fights are interchangeable. None is more box office than the other in terms of which means more for legacy.
You know, I've been saying that, Drew. That I'm like, if he
And
said,
coach, we said it real quick. Let me finish. Coach, we had dinner, remember? And the bottom line is Sampson is dangling David to get more dates because the dates at Showtime, we can't say who told us, but the dates at Showtime are dwindling. And Sampson and a couple other the small guys are trying to get an inroad with DAZN or Dana White's Fight Pass. We were told that directly, and they don't know how to get in there because they're still dealing with Al, and the other guys won't deal with them as long as they're dealing with Al. So they're in a stuck position right now.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. That we did talk about that at the dinner. You're right about that.
A lot of these Benavidez
gentlemen,
fans are very biased, man, because like I mentioned the whole 6-6-7-5 thing, and the dude got mad because I said that. I was like, man, you need to stop watching boxing. It's like, no, that's how the fight was, you know. But he couldn't handle
Can
hearing.
you guys hear me? Can you guys
I
hear
can
me?
hear you, bro. I'm
What's
gonna
up?
say, look, I had to before I pass it to Mirage. I had to fight 7-5 Benavidez, so I don't have any. It's not a controversy. David won the fight. Like, no, it's no controversy. David won the fight.
Right.
But you know, he did have catching up to do because I had it after 6. I had it 5-1 after 6. I had it 5 rounds to Caleb, 1 round to David, and it's like I hear you, bro. I hear you.
I watched your video. I watched the video already. Your breakdown this morning.
Go ahead.
So, I've been listening. So I think I need to bring some balance into this discussion, as usual. As usual.
Here we go.
Hang on. So, David definitely wasn't a monster last night. Definitely wasn't. But we can talk about why he wasn't. I'm rewatching the fight at the moment. I got 4-3 after 7, although definitely a couple of rounds could have gone either way. So he definitely did struggle. To me, the lack of jab, but overall the hesitation. David's strength is overwhelming volume. You got to just that the physical imposition. He just smothers. He lets his hands go. He didn't let his hands go. The signature combination you're talking about, it's easy to land punch, these quadruple uppercuts with some. He didn't even throw them to miss. He didn't throw.
Now, Mirage, what I'm going to tell you is the reason that he didn't throw them, or at least my interpretation, so that we're all on an even keel. My interpretation, what I saw that was different in this fight than many of his other fights, is he had a guy. If you watch those, if you go back to rounds 1 and 4, you'll notice that Caleb's movements were not broad strokes. He would take a subtle step back to just be out of range of the punch. And that's kind of why David was a little bit squirrely, because it's like, oh, shit, he's not really there. Oh, shit, he's not really there. That happened a lot early. I'm going to say Caleb faded down the stretch. We all know that. And then you started seeing broad strokes. Like now he's running. Now he's really trying to get out of the way of the
back
punch.
to the old Caleb.
Exactly. Whereas before, at the beginning, which I thought was very good, to be honest, it was subtle. I'm just outside of striking distance. So I'm far out enough that you'll miss, but I could come right in and pop you. And that's why he was a little bit hesitant. Did
he give Caleb too much respect in that regard? Like he was biting the feints too much, in my opinion.
I agree.
Well, right, but
I just think that's David, though. Like he lacks the awareness.
Is 5 of you talking at the same time?
A lot of that was due to the fact that Benavidez hadn't experienced that before with his prior opponents. That's what caused the hesitation.
I agree.
No, I just think that's David's flaws. Like he is susceptible to feints, and on the inside, he ain't as good as people think. I think, especially Canelo, because he's shorter and he's an inside technician, like specialist. Yeah, David. I don't know if David's gonna be able to really make that adjustment.
Yeah, but let's sorry, go.
I'll say, I do agree with Julio's contention that he doesn't have the inside game that people think he has, and a large part of the reason that people are under that impression is because the guys that he's fighting, they're not fluid inside fighters, so it's easier for him to look capable at that range. And with a guy like Canelo, remember that Canelo is a small target. And he's not just a small target. He has great parry ability, great head movement. He could fight on a swivel. He could roll and counter, slip and hook, put uppercuts in there. He could do a lot of little things in the pocket that don't involve retreating like Caleb. Like, no, he might dominate the pocket against David because he's not as good as people think he is.
But I don't know. Look, you guys are now drawing this leap, how we look versus plan. Canelo is going to be right there in front of him. That changes the equation completely. So I don't know. You're making this leap.
But Canelo's
The fight's going to be
specialty,
different.
I think, because Canelo's specialty is to get on the inside and make people miss. Like that's what
And
he has the
counter.
advantage of in all his fights. That's
Yeah,
how
but
he
how
beat
long can he
Golovkin.
make you miss? Does he have the cardio? We talk about the cardio. Can he do that for 5, 6, 7 late rounds?
I
Sure.
think so. I think you know why I think so, Mirage? I'll tell you why. He did so. See, I don't want to make it sound backwards. In other words, the fact that Dimitri didn't hit him as much as I would have expected, right? See, he was still slipping, rolling, and riding, but he was only fighting half a fight in the Dimitri Bivol fight. It went from looking for punches to trying to survive punches. And what he did do successfully, he did survive punches. He did roll and rod punches. There was a whole video, a bird's eye view of the fight. The whole fight was in a bird's eye view. And you could see that, like, no, he's really not getting hit. He's definitely losing, and he's getting outworked, but he's not getting hit. And that was at light heavyweight with added weight. And he was
But
able
when he
to do
did
that.
get hit, though, you saw that. Hey, I don't know why he's fighting Bivol again because I think Bivol might really fuck him up this time.
I don't think he should fight Bivol.
Yeah,
I
I
really
agree.
And also,
But like we
also,
said yesterday, the reason he's fighting Bivol is the reason that we appreciate greatness in boxing. Those unmountable risks. But this has to be said. Like we talked about it yesterday, Jules. David's only game plan in all his fights is the war of attrition, his
Yes.
gas tank versus the other ones. That
Yes,
is not a
agreed.
fucking boxing skill. That is a physical characteristic that
I
you can
agree.
work on and you can strengthen or it can diminish. David has no elite boxing skills.
I agree with.
Stamina
I do
is
agree
not a
with that.
fucking stamina is
No,
not
no.
a boxing skill. That's
Let's
a
say this.
physical
Let's be
skill.
fair. Let me be fair because I know Mirage really likes David, and Australia is a nice country with many hot women.
Better than yours.
I agree with that.
I disagree. I'm in LA.
Well, that is fair. LA 10 is really a 20 everywhere else. That
I
is
like
true.
fat women, so I disagree.
You know, fat women are really nice. I'm gonna say that. The one elite quality that David has is his gas tank, and yes, that's an elite quality. A guy who fades down the stretch will never make it to the upper echelon. You never will, no matter how good your tactics are, your jab, your feint, your counters. If you don't got a gas tank, you ain't gonna make it. All right.
Okay. So let me just
I'll
say,
give David that.
I know
So-
we'll give him that, but then like
hang on. Let me
people are
respond.
I wasn't done. I wasn't done.
All right.
People are comparing it gonna be to like the first Triple G fight. David doesn't have a power jab to
No,
make Canelo
David, that
reset.
fight is not gonna look. I could tell you wholeheartedly from the bottom of my shoe, that fight ain't gonna look nothing like the first.
He
Exactly.
has
Like
none of
David-
Golovkin's technical skills.
No, he has.
Hey,
He
can
doesn't
I
have a
respond
power
to this?
jab. He
The
doesn't have a
fucking
power jab to reset. He doesn't have the footwork to cut off the ring. David's only like bet is he's trying to think Canelo. He's going to last longer in the gas tank than Canelo
Yep.
and try to dominate the last 4 or 5 rounds of the fight.
Okay.
His only
So,
chance is volume.
Let me respond. So, firstly, he has a jab. He just didn't show it last night. In his other fights, he has showed a good jab. We explained why he was hesitant. This guy, he was moving in a big ring. Canelo's going to be right there, high guard in front. So, I think he's going to use the jab much more. But now we're getting to the point. Hang on, where we're almost underestimating this performance. Now, I looked at some statistics. So let me give you guys some facts other than feelings. David Benavidez, at the end of the night, believe it or not, he landed twice as many punches on Caleb Plant than Canelo did, and he landed at a higher accuracy. That's facts.
Well,
It didn't
didn't
look
he
like
throw
it.
more?
It did. It
Canelo
didn't look.
stopped him.
Yeah, he also threw more punches, I'm sure.
We'll get to that. We'll
But
get
we
to that.
had wait. We had this conversation, Mirage. I don't
Who's the
disagree.
pressure fighter?
I don't.
So he did do some decent work in there, even though he
Now
had
one.
He also had
flaws.
more time.
No, but
One more round, 1.5 rounds. Sure.
one. This is the thing,
Hmm.
and this. I'm not saying this to be shitty to David. I'm just saying it because this is my interpretation for any situation where that's the breakdown. If you landed more, and that guy's still standing, and he landed less, and that guy wasn't standing, he hits harder than you.
We can go to that argument. We can move to that. But the point is, it takes skill to land. Caleb Plant's hard to hit. I looked at all the sticks. I think David Benavidez landed more than any other opponent. Uskategi landed 150 punches. Canelo only landed 112 punches.
And that was enough to stop him.
Okay. So in terms of one punch power, he caught him and he stopped him. But we can't just dismiss. David actually landed some decent volume and a decent accuracy.
He
also threw more than 200 punches and had more time to work.
Listen, I never dismissed that David started landing towards the end. That was what I was anticipating. This guy's gonna fade. When he does, David's gonna start landing. That was my whole prognosis for the goddamn fight. My thing is, one, what are you landing and why are you landing it? Are you landing it because you're accurate, or are you landing it because he's tired? You're landing it because he's tired. That's
but
why.
he got tired against Canelo as well.
And Canelo stopped him. You can't downplay taking it out of the judge's hands. That's the most ideal scenario for any fight. Not just a Canelo fight, not just a Benavidez fight. Every single fight. That if you can, I don't need the judges to tell me I won. I know I won because I fucking stopped him.
And you know what? I think it's more likely that David actually gasses out if that fight gets made.
I'm 100% sure he will.
On the inside, he's trying to find a smaller opponent. He's missing from the defensive slips and rolls that Canelo's made his career for. And I think that he's going to get tired mentally and physically because he just can't touch him as much as he wants, and he's getting countered.
I believe that the main difference between one of the more important differences, I should say, because I don't like when regular fights that we should be able to talk about get polarized. It's annoying. I'm just looking at the fight, and what I see that's a glaring difference is there's going to be stuff coming back at you. See, Caleb wasn't really countering. He'd explode in moments, especially towards the beginning. He'd explode, get off some flurries, but he wasn't making them miss and making them pay in the pocket that he's going to roll and an uppercut is going to come back, or he's going to slip and a hook is going to come over the top. Caleb wasn't doing that, and that's different. When you get hit with those punches that you don't brace yourself for, they pile up a lot of damage. Yeah. And the difference between a Canelo fight and a Plant fight or any other fight that he's had is that's what you're going to be working with, bro.
Yep.
You got speed. You got speed. Yeah, I'll concede. David, when he wants to, he's fast. Canelo's fast all the time. And he's not just fast. He's accurate. You got a long torso, bro. You got a long torso.
Also, Canelo won't get hurt and won't gas out like Caleb will, so he'll commit to an inside fight, whereas with Caleb, after the 5th round, he turned back to the old Caleb where he's just on the ropes, moving around, trying to survive, and that almost got him stopped. But I don't think Canelo will do that. I think Canelo has the chin and the defensive ability to commit to an inside fight with David.
He doesn't have – hang on, that's Jules for a sec. Canelo doesn't have Caleb's feet, which helped Caleb plan a lot. So he's going to be in the pocket.
I disagree. I believe that his feet are a bane. I believe that's the bane. I believe that his feet are a bane, and that's the bane of every single pure boxer versus every pressure fighter. Look at all these fights, Mirage. Zelfa Barrett, Shavkat Rakhimov, Erslan De Lara, Jarrett Hurd, Tim Tszyu, Tony Harrison. All that moving around, that's not what you need. You need shifts and pivots to hold the center. Nice. The second you start giving up ground, you're on your way to losing. You just don't know it yet. You're on your way to losing. You need to be able to hold your ground and counter.
That depends.
Look at it this way.
Sometimes you need to move to avoid the punishment.
No, but look at it this way. Caleb got hit way more when he was on the ropes and moving around in that fight than he was when he was pushing David back or fighting him in the center of the ring.
The way to beat any pressure fighter, not exclusive to David, is you pick your moments, which is what pure boxers don't do this. They go in there with the same mentality, more or less. They're going to give up a bit of ground. I can walk them into some shots and mitigate the damage. That's the pure boxer. The boxer punch is different. I'm not running from you, bro. I'm going to be here with you. And we're going to do this. And
if you can take the shots.
But bro, Canelo's been to 175. He can take the shots.
Yeah, he'll take the shots.
He can take the shots. I don't have no reason to believe he can't take the shots. He's been to 175. He can take the shots. And the other thing is, it's not like they're going to land flush. For a good portion of the fight, I don't think they will. Until he gets super duper tired, and even then, I've seen him work when he was tired. When he was in there with Bivol, he was fucking exhausted. But he was still rolling, riding, slipping, bobbing, and weaving. He was still mitigating the damage. That was at like heavyweight with added weight to slow him down. At 68, he'll be fine, bro. He will be fine.
Hey, but Jules, based on what you just said, right? Like me, like everything everyone's saying, everyone has their opinion. It's fine. My thing is, I want to see the fight.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna have this discussion. We can talk till our lips fall off. Until we see that fight, it's not going to change anything because we need to physically see it to see who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I always want. The fight, like the Fury and Usyk shit. Bullshit. Give me the fight.
And, and another thing, what you said about Canelo when he went up to light heavyweight, and he was heavier, and that's why he probably gassed out or something against Bivol. Well, what makes you think that if he wants to fight Bivol again and move up to light heavyweight, it's going to be anything different? Canelo does fade in the late rounds. That's what he does.
I think it'll be the same thing, and I think that 168, given his age, is the ideal weight for him. That's where he should be. I don't believe any more trips to 175 are necessary. This machismo shit, you gotta get that back for the pride. It's in the Bible, bro. Pride comes just before the fall. Leave that man alone. Come back to him later. He's not going anywhere, and he's not old. He'll be around. But take care of David. That's what I want. Like, no, take care of that.
No, fight Beterbiev, man. Fight Beterbiev for all the belts.
No, he's not gonna. So, Jules, we can agree. If Canelo is as confident as you fine gentlemen in beating up Benavidez, we should expect that fight within his next two fights.
Where me and you don't agree is that you don't want to accept that the Bivol fight is a more dangerous fight. That's where me and you don't agree.
Well, we're never going to agree. But let's say we'll give him, okay, you can fight Bivol. But after that, we agree. If he's going to fight after Bivol, it has to be Benavidez. We'll agree to it?
We all
No,
agree.
I don't. No, I don't.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
because
It
no,
should
you know
be.
why?
It should
Hold
be.
on. First of all, if he beats B-Ball, they're going to be calling for better BF.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a whole avenue we can go down.
That's there's only two scenarios. It's Mirage after the B-Ball fight. He either wins or loses.
That is true. Like, I can't see, and that's not, it's like, Mirage, you interpret that as a knock on what you want. Well, no, that's not a knock on what you want. That is a potential scenario. That if he were to go up there, and he were to beat Bivol naturally, you got to go after better Beav now. That's what they going to say, bro. That is what they going to say.
Then they're going to say he's ducking better BF if he picks David.
If he does beat Bivol, which we know like there's a 10% chance, and he decides to go after better Biev, we'll give him the pass. But let's see what happens.
Now, let me read the super chats. Drew said, clowns don't watch boxing. Fact show, Golden Boy and Matchroom offered that BLT bandit fights. Benavidez cult think he deserved what Plant was paid for Canelo. David is no Triple G. I do agree with that. That Triple G, and I've always said this about Triple G, even well-respected pundits classified him as a pressure fighter. I never did. He's a boxer puncher. Everything he does is off the jab. It's all fundamentally sound, chin always tucked, defensible punches, defensible hooks. He don't throw stupid shit that you could just hit him. No, this dude he got feet. It's just that he has a Soviet style of boxing that Americans don't appreciate for whatever reason. Maybe they're xenophobic or bigoted, but he has a very defensively sound style of boxing, which is why he ain't never been knocked out. That's why. You not
And he
just
has a damn good chin, and he punches people on top of the head.
Well, why he got a good chin, Chris? He keep it tucked.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't.
get hit.
You're not going to see his neck. He keep it tucked.
And what do you
Like,
say
he's
to
not
that? What do
Ryan
you say to
Garcia.
that, Jules, about the pay scale? Like David doesn't have any leverage to negotiate this fight like Caleb did.
I don't think he
Dude.
does either. You
You know-
can't.
Versus who?
No,
Versus who?
no. See, this is look, Mirage. I know you don't like the business side of the shit, but it is a factor.
It's a mandatory.
Wait,
It's a mandatory now.
wait. It's a factor as to whether or not we get the fight. It's just the truth. I don't like it any more than you do, but it is just the truth that.
What leverage does he need?
Listen to me. It's not that. It's how Sam. Do you know who Samson Lukowicz is?
Of course I do.
All right, then you know that he's a
He
greedy
looks a
old.
bit dodgy. He looks a dodgy
He is
character. He looks a bit
dodgy. He is dodgy, and I'm telling you that
Yeah.
the mandated split by way of the WBC in this situation normally is 75-25. Now I'll go as far as saying that I could see them doing for David what they just did for Jose Ramirez. They might up it a little bit to 35%. They might, and I'm just telling you that Samson not gonna want that. He gonna want more than that, and that's gonna fuck. That could.
Okay.
They might pull
No,
a Tyson Fury.
let me say this. That could fuck up the fight. Why? Lou DiBella tried that shit with fucking Sergey. He tried that shit when the IBF ordered that fight. He priced him out of the goddamn fight. It didn't end up happening, and Canelo moved on. These greedy motherfuckers don't want to understand that. You look at the Canelo fight as a jackpot. That's not supposed to be the jackpot. You're supposed to make the sacrifice that Holyfield made to get Tyson in the ring. You're supposed to make the sacrifice that Floyd made to get Oscar in the ring. You'll fuck up the fight before you get to the other side of it. You'll negotiate your ass right out the goddamn fight.
The money is in the rematch clause. That's where it's always. That's why Usyk got paid 60 fucking million in the second AJ fight.
We just learned our lesson with this, with the Tyson Fury thing. Like he might he might see himself at a value that is not true.
My response to that is, we'll get to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get to that bridge.
Now let me read the super chats. Randy Arias said, "De lo mío que lo que manín para la cerveza. Muchas gracias." Edwin says they'll go with Canelo, done narrative, and avoid the zone. They're not like as much as people don't want to hear this. They're not going to send him over there. They're
That
not.
sounds very plausible.
The first step is Canelo saying, "I want to fight."
Because if this fight is very successful at pay-per-view, let's just say theoretically, they're going to want to protect the bag, and David might be it because aside from Tank and not even Errol anymore, they really don't have anything going for them commercially.
A lot of guys look at the Canelo fight and they say it's a whale of a fight. It's this, it's that. You're forgetting that those are small timers over there, right? There's a big bag for David if he fights Canelo. Understand? There's a big bag for David. There is not a big bag for Al Heyman. There is not a big bag for Samson Lukowicz, all right? They get the bigger bag or the bag that they want when they are in control. That's in-house fights at the PBC. It's not dissimilar from what I told you guys about why did they really move the fight from Saudi over to the UK. Maybe there's a huge bag for Tyson Fury over there, but I don't know about there being a big bag for Bob because the deal structure is different, all right? They're going to buy the rights from you, then they're going to flip them. That's what they do. They're going to auction them off to the highest bidder, and that means you're not in control anymore. The fucking fight could end up on Sky. They don't want that. It's not dissimilar with this, that you send David over there, and he's going to get a bag. He's going to get good money, the best money that you can get at this weight. But what are you going to get? You're only going to get a cut of that. You're only going to get a cut of that. Whereas if you
welfare.
Right. And Mirage, I know you don't like the business, but me and Coach Malachi, we had dinner with a boxing manager that has a unified champion and a UFC champion. And the problem is right now, guys like Samson, Tom Brown, all these guys, they're holding on to their most valuable piece to leverage dates because the dates have dwindled over here. And if he sends David over there and loses, his stable is crushed. He has that people don't get. People don't understand that.
And what if David wins? What's the prize?
It's the negotiation.
I'm telling you that you're telling it like it's a movie, Mirage, and that's not what they do. It is the truth that You got a guy that you know you could probably do 2 to 3 pay-per-views for him a year now, moving forward, and that'll get you dates. You value that. Whereas you say, oh, one fight, but it's a gamble, bro. If he lose, we're fucked. Look at what happened to Zerto. Look at Golden Boy now that Zerto lost. What the fuck are they gonna do, bro? What are they gonna do?
And look what's going to happen after Ryan gets fucking starched. They're going to be there. They only got Virgil after Ryan loses.
Bro, they're talking about putting
sure, that's all.
They're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
all.
putting Munguia in there with Bivol, bro.
That's ridiculous.
Jules, Jules, you know what?
gets murdered.
You and Drew is right about that, because that's the major question that I asked. I'm like, bro, if we know how PBC operate, right? And they are in the position to where we saw what happened when Canelo became undisputed, the issues that he had negotiating the first time. He walked away. Then eventually, I guess they worked it out, and he came back and beat Plan and became undisputed. So
He
now,
walked away twice, Coach.
Yeah, he walked away twice. Well, I don't. Yeah, I remember once, but he walked away twice. Okay, but the thing is this, Drew and Jules. Now, David Benavidez doesn't have any leverage in negotiating. So again, Canelo is the A side. You're gonna have to do whatever they tell you to do. And if you need to go to the, same shit they said with Crawford and other people, PBC the place to be. You do what you're told. Keep your mouth closed. Okay, he's gonna have to do what he's told and keep his mouth closed. And if you really want that fight, go to the zone. If they don't let him go to the zone, wait, hold on, let me finish. If they don't let him go to the zone, guess what? Is this a clout chase?
Yes. Look, David is just a fighter, bro. Like I'm going to try to not be mean. David is just a fighter. You do what you're told. Maybe you want to fight. Maybe you do. But I know how your management going to play it. If that fight ain't on Showtime, then it don't happen. And the problem with that is you're trying to dictate terms to Canelo. Nah, bro. If I want it, I'm not even saying, I'm not even saying, because we're not there yet. We don't know what he going to say. But I do know one thing. He likes Eddie Hearn. He likes Matchroom. He likes the DAZN platform. So I could see him saying, yo, come over here, B. Let's get it. And I could see them saying, no.
We've been talking about this a lot, Jules, about the business side. People don't understand. They don't want cash cows to be undisputed, to have all the fucking leverage. Case in point, with what's going on at Undisputed, at heavyweight. They know, and I've heard this from several sources, they know that if and by some chance Usyk beats Fury, which I think he will, Eddie Hearn's going to come and scoop up Alex with him. And everybody's going to get funneled back over to the heavyweight side on the zone, because Alex even said, I like dealing with Eddie. They have no problem going back to Eddie. That's why these nickel and dime promoters don't want the cash cows having all the leverage. They want the belt split up. They don't want parity. They want, because they're clenching on these dates. Y'all don't understand the dates are shrinking.
Exactly.
Can I say something, Julius?
Go ahead.
First of all, besides the boxing, this is a problem I have with David Benavidez. And I agree with your point. He's just a boxer. Because he was complaining about what was happening in his promotional company. He was saying, we are here looking dumb. We cannot make anything happen. What happened a couple of months after? He resigns with the PBC.
And he got a great fight. Signed, didn't he? The top guy.
Mirage
is,
that's a fight that should have happened years ago when they were both.
That's debatable.
And the other thing, look, the Caleb Plant versus Canelo fight was made, and it was a success. But PBC probably broke the bank doing that fight. Do you think they're gonna broke the bank again for David Benavidez?
No.
To bring Canelo
like they could say, hey, we'll match or we'll give you a higher guarantee than what DAZN.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you.
They're on the hook. Tell them how much the purse is for Canelo. Tell them how much the operational cost is, Jules, for Garcia Davis and what they're already in the hole for.
30 million.
Jack Nuff says you missed his.
Well, they're overplaying their hand probably with those guys.
30. They dropped the 30 bag.
$30 million.
But look, but we can talk about these things forever. We're presupposing a lot of things. For me, first, the first step is Canelo saying, "Let's fight." Then we can move on to everything you guys said, which is all legit. But we need to wait for Canelo to make that decision because it's up to him. And
I agree.
until that happens, yeah.
I agree
But
with
can I
that.
just, can,
But here's another thing. I'll say this because one thing that I don't like is I like Morrell versus Benavidez, Jack. I think that's a great fight that they can make. Two unbeaten guys. They both hit hard. They're both big for the weight. Morrell doesn't have a lot of fights, but I like what I've seen so far. I do think they need to get him out there at least one more time before you put him in there with Benavidez at least, because it just doesn't make sense that he hasn't. Has he fought this year?
no.
No, not
No.
that I'm aware
It
of.
doesn't make no sense, bro. That dude don't even have 10 fights.
He fought your Boston Newley this year. He almost killed that guy.
That was this year, or was that late last
No.
year?
Yeah, I think that was
Was that
late
this
last
year?
I think
That was
late
last. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I'm like, you got a dude, unbeaten dude. Don't even have 10 fights or don't even have 15 fights. What the fuck is going on here, bro?
Yeah, he's
You
a
need
prospect
to-
fighting.
fights,
He's a
bro.
prospect fighting twice a year.
That don't
Like-
that don't make no sense.
It's ridiculous. But
that's
to be
modern
fair, though,
boxing.
I think
Who
he
does fight?
I think he does do Caleb's style a bit better. Me personally, I don't think he'll end up
firepower.
right. Me personally, I don't think he'll end up fighting like David and Canelo, but I do think he'll end up fighting Diego Pacheco, and I think Diego Pacheco beats him.
You talking about Morrell?
Yes.
Look, we're getting way out there now. Where I'm like, I don't even know where I am.
Can I say something, Jules? So we all understand styles make fights, and when in certain fights like Lara, Canelo looked very mediocre. I don't think you guys are being very generous to David in regards to that. This was a bad style matchup in a big ring, and you're saying
I disagree with you.
This is a true David Benavidez. This is all he has. When this was a bad, you're ignoring the context. This was a bad matchup.
No. Let's say this. I agree with you. Let me tell you this. Canelo versus Lara is a very bad style matchup for Canelo. Very bad. Very bad. Pure boxer versus boxer puncher. It's always boring. It's always awkward. It's usually bad. The only thing worse than that is pure
one punch at a time, trying to catch him the whole fight.
Exactly, because that's his Achilles heel, or at least it was. I'll say, because he's come up against pure boxers since then, and he did tweak something that helps him out now that he really didn't have before.
Well,
but that's besides.
It's the level of boxers come up against because they're not high enough to give him that much of a problem.
Now I do agree that Canelo versus Lara, bad style matchup. This fight. No, this pure boxer versus pressure fighter almost always wins. Almost always. So I cannot agree that this was a bad style matchup for David. But
Canelo was the pressure fighter versus Lara. He was stalking him.
Canelo. No. That's the thing. No, he wasn't. Canelo lives somewhere in between. I got like a little. Let me pull my shit up.
Pull up the graphic. Pull up the goddamn graphic.
Look. You see all right now. You see that space? Do you see that arrow between boxer, puncher, and pressure fighter? That's where Canelo lives. Right there in the middle. He can alternate between the two. He's and a lot of the good fighters, they can do that. Like Floyd. Floyd was in the other spot. Floyd could be a pure boxer. He could be a boxer puncher. He could alternate between the two when the situation called for it. Canelo is the other way. He could be a boxer puncher. He could be a pressure fighter. But that's these days, though. I'm going to say that he was a lot more limited when he fought Lara. He was a lot more limited and younger, younger, greener, whatever. And he didn't look good in that fight. These days, he can be that pressure fighter because he was that pressure fighter with Callum Smith. He was that pressure fighter with Billy Joe Saunders, and he was that pressure fighter with Caleb Plant. That he's figured it out now. He's got a way to deal with it. His problem was you tried that with Dimitri, bro. That shit ain't gonna work. He's too big. You can't slow him down. You can't put a dent in him. But all these other guys down there, they food, bro. They're food.
And like I tweeted, this fight is just going to be Canelo Chavez Jr. 2.0.
Yeah, but David.
Come on, man. You're comparing Benavidez. Get out of there to Chavez Jr.
Who's got a fucking better resume right now? Fucking Mirage. Chavez Jr. or fucking Benavidez?
Man, are you trolling me? Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm fucking serious.
So, Jules, I'm glad you brought up experience.
Who's got a better resume? Who's got a better resume right now?
I'm not answering
because it's fucking true.
Oh, okay. Hey, I want to respond to Jules. Let me respond to Jules.
Like, all right, let's
Let me respond to Jules' point.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm glad you mentioned experience, Jules, because so when Canelo fought Lara, that was his 46th pro fight. This was David Benavidez' 27th pro fight. He's 26-year-old. We're ignoring that he still has. He's not even in his prime. No.
Wait a minute.
He has a lot to learn.
No, wait a minute.
He can improve.
Wait a minute. You're ignoring his style, bro. I'm telling you that you can't.
Both.
Both
factors.
You can't put a pure boxer in there with David, even if he look a little.
Can David adjust? Can he improve, Jules? Tell me that. Can he learn from this fight?
All right. I'll put it to you this way. I've seen boxer punchers become pressure fighters. I've seen that. I've seen boxer punchers become pure boxers. The reason that pressure fighters, even though they're fun to watch, one of the things about pressure fighters that's not good, they stay in character. Pressure fighters are pressure fighter through and through, even when he shouldn't be. Look at David Lemieux. His little ass should have known. His little ass, but he can't be nothing else. He couldn't be nothing else. That's who he was. He was a pressure guy. So this dude really trying to come forward on David,
but
bro.
They can improve. They can improve as pressure fighters with more experience. There's no way David is in his prime. 27 fights, 26. He's not in his prime. We need to give him. Look, I'll admit, this was a 7 out of 10 at best. It was not an impressive performance, but it's opened up some question marks. But I want to see. Can he improve? Can he learn?
He can improve. All right. Before I pass it to Julio, I'll say this. Yes, pressure fighters can improve at being pressure fighters. Nothing is impossible. Pressure fighters can be better pressure fighters. I'm just telling you that I've seldom ever seen.
Yeah, it's not going to transform. Yeah,
I've never seen a pressure fighter say, "Okay, well now I'm going to be more of a pure." I've never seen that, bro. And
that's sure, that's true.
Yeah, and. Like, we can only go off his most recent performance. Like, let's not be silly and try to ignore it. For 5 rounds, he wasn't a pressure fighter. He wasn't a pure boxer. He wasn't a boxer puncher. That dude had an identity crisis for 5 rounds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but I can still consider. Hopefully, he learned something from that. Hopefully, he learned. But it is a question mark.
And I think that there need to be changes in the corner. Because the things that he's lacking, look, the really good pressure fighters, and you heard me say it at the top of the show, one of the year marks of a really good pressure fighter, okay, look, David doesn't really move his fucking head. He just doesn't, bro. And that's okay, bro. There's a lot of Soviet guys that don't move their head. But what do they use in its place? A good jab. Good jab. You need a good jab. Like, you need to double up, triple up on the jab. If you ain't jabbing your way in, that is a problem, bro.
And they have better blocks.
People try to say like, oh, well, Benavidez can give Canelo problems just like Golovkin did, but everything Golovkin did was off a world-class jab, which David had.
Don't you guys think?
Well, nobody.
After
20, wait, go ahead, country.
Don't you guys think after 26 fights, you're gonna be that's the boxer you're just going to be at that point?
That's a good point. I'm not going to.
But why did everybody say Canelo wasn't in his prime versus Mayweather? 42 pro fights. Oh, he's improved.
I don't
he's
say
changed. That. Don't give me that. I've heard that so much, man.
Wait a minute. I don't make excuses for Canelo's loss to Floyd. He was a champion. I'm not going to sit here crying a champion with 46 fights a fucking river. I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't do that.
Nobody does it.
That's the narrative. That's the narrative, Jules.
The malleable base styles, that the most malleable I've seen at the very top is the boxer puncher. I see a lot of boxer punchers. They can change who they are. A lot of the really good ones do. I've even seen pure boxers say, you know what, I'm going to throw a little more. I'm going to be that boxer puncher. I'm going to throw a little more, like Bivol did with Zerto. That, I'm going to throw a little more. I'm going to step into my punches. I'm going to show some spite.
Perfect example. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns won. Perfect example of that.
I've seldom ever seen. I'm not going to tell you it never happened because I don't know everything, so I don't know. Maybe there's an example out there that I'm not aware of. But based on what I've
Capricorn, dog. I thought you knew everything.
Based on what I've seen, I've seldom ever seen pressure fighters break character. They stay pressure fighters, bro, because they just want to go. They just want to throw. And they could be better at what they do. Like, maybe you start slipping on your way in. Maybe you start rolling and countering on your way in. Maybe you double, triple up the jab on your way in. But they're still pressure fighters. They don't. A lot don't change.
So
Here's the example that nobody's explaining. Like David is decent. Does he have anything elite boxing skills? No. Can he get there?
he has
Yes.
elite
But here's
attributes. He has elite attributes. That's different.
that's not a boxing skill. I'm talking
Yeah, but
boxing skill.
it's an
I'm
ability.
not.
It still counts.
But can I finish? The thing pressure fighters that are at the top echelon level they're still fucking slick in the pocket, Mirage. Julio Cesar Chavez. It didn't look like he was doing all that fancy shit, but he was rolling, slipping, moving his head.
Yeah, I agree with that.
David Benavidez doesn't fight on a schedule enough to get fucking better. He's fighting one time a year.
If you look at the best of the best pressure fighters, 3 names come to mind. First and foremost is my man Roberto Duran, one of the best pressure fighters that ever applied any pressure on anyone. The second is got to be Chavez, and these bozos that think they know boxing, and he just a flip. All right, you fucking idiot. Okay, he because he's not rolling and riding punches and countering off the rolls. All right, you idiot. And Chocolatito. That's what an elite level pressure fighter could do. That he could be right there with you, and even though you throwing punches, he rolling them or he riding them, so they not really landing. He's just rolling them shits and coming back with his own shit.
One of the best pressure fighters of all time was. I'll let you finish, country, then I'll go.
Chavez's best example about being a pressure fighter and in a battle of attrition, actually, in that fight was the Taylor fight, dude. He showed it. He showed it in that fight.
He had him under pressure. Taylor was fighting a good ass fight, and he still broke him down.
He was boxing him up. He boxed him up.
And can I tell you this, Mirage?
Chavez beat it out of him was the problem.
Yeah.
Right. I think that
Can I
like
tell you
elite
this,
pressure
Mirage?
fighters, they sometimes have defense that is as good as a pure boxer, but we just don't.
Dwight
realize
Muhammad Kwai is one.
Hey.
I think he's the best pressure fighter I saw, bro. For the level of competition, the only pressure fighters I saw better than him was Roberto Duran, Aaron Pryor, and fucking Julio Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
Like people,
Mirage,
like
I
people
would
talk
like-
about
I
James
would
Toney's
like-
defensive prowess, but
I would like David to get with like a Manny Robles or an elite trainer. His dad's not an elite trainer.
That's another thing that, like, we talk about the growth of the potential growth of David Benavidez, but look, his father's not an all-time great trainer. You know, he's not a fucking Ray Arcel or something like that. So for these things that, for you to show improvement and all these different things that we're talking about that we're entertaining because he is young. He's a young guy. He's in his mid-20s. Of course, it's possible that he could improve, but it's not going to happen on its own either. There are things that need to change. He does need to be a busier fighter. To me, look, you just fought. They should be able to get you out there 2 more times this year. Canelo, whatever. You need to fight more than once, bro.
Hey, Jules, let me respond to what you guys have been saying. So let's not get confused. David's issue with this fight was not defense. I checked the stats. Caleb Plant landed only 15% of his punches. He landed 22 versus Canelo. The issue here, he was too defensive. He was not offensively enough, which is what a good pressure fighter to do. He was not pulling the trigger. That was his main problem last night.
I agree. It's
and that is an issue.
Playing with the range, like if you
I actually think he threw more. I thought he threw more punches than David. Actually,
he did.
It's just that
Caleb Plant threw more punches.
Defense is just not good. Like
if you look at those early rounds, and credit to Caleb because that was slick. You were within striking distance, and you didn't go all the way out there somewhere.
No.
You just took a half step back, like nope, not there. Nope, not there.
He's crafty. Caleb Plant is crafty. Respect to Caleb Plant.
And that was good, and that'll mess with a guy that he thinks you're there and you're not there, and then he goes for a shot and he don't feel nothing, like oh shit, get back over here before he hit me.
He got hit less when he was taking more risk. It's almost funny to see, like people think just moving laterally and having a shoulder roll means that you have good defense, but it's not the case.
Because their interpretation, I notice a lot about, and I don't want to talk about these morons, but their interpretation of boxing, they think that if you don't fight like Floyd, you don't know how to box. They don't, and I've said this on a million shows, the defense on a pressure fighter is not going to look like defense on a pure boxer. And the defense of the boxer puncher, that's the more textbook conventional definition of defense, that when you see him, you could tell he's being defensive. A pressure fighter's defense is sometimes his offense. That you're not going to get to do nothing to me because I'm doing all this to you. Like Artur, Artur could take a half step back, come over the top with the right hand. But when he's doubling up on that jab, that's defense. Why? He's throwing so you don't. And he could get in safely.
And the goal of the defensive game plan of a pressure fighter to a pure boxer are totally different. A pure boxer wants to make you miss and hit you with a clean shot for the judges or a shot you don't see coming. A pressure fighter wants to absorb your punch, roll with it, to hit you with a combination of his hardest fucking punches. They're totally
the pressure fighter wants to knock you out. The pure boxer wants to fight at a slow pace, 1-2 at a time, create space, move lateral. Right. They don't want action. They're polar opposites. The pure boxer and the boxer and the pressure fighter, which is why the pressure fighter usually they swallow their ass up. Usually,
it's like they're counterpunching. They're counterpunching with offense, basically.
Hey, Jules. Hey, Drew, you reminded me of something. Jules, check this out. I interviewed I interviewed Joe Goosen, and I interviewed Buddy McGirt, and you said something, Jules, about Caleb. David Benavidez. If he fights more, he can get better, and that's what we spoke about. Fighters today. The reason why they're not getting as good as they should be, more sharper, is because of the inactivity. They don't fight as much. They like to throw up with old school guys. All of them are brain damaged, which is not true. That's bullshit. All of them are not. But they were sharp because they fought multiple times. They fought like every 3 months, every 4 months, something of that sort. These guys here fight once a year, maybe twice a year. You're not going to get better just sparring. Yeah. You have to continue to fight. Yeah. And that's how you get started.
Robinson, man.
And this is why they don't get better.
And ask the great Korean Cosell, Steve Kim. You have fighters that are overtrained that end up with stress fractures and they're often injured. Why? You're training more than you're fighting. You're training.
Josh Taylor comes to mind. and like me and Jules have said this a lot, Coach. You don't get better in the gym. You stay sharp. You learn new tricks. You don't know if those tricks work till you get into a fucking fight. You don't get better if you're not in the fucking fight. You can't implement the stuff you worked on in camp if you're not in a fight to know it works or not, or to know when to use it.
So let's not stray too far from the subject. That we can talk about David potentially getting sharper because he is young, so there is time. But there are critical elements that need to change. One, I don't think his dad is all that. I think that there needs to be an addition or something to really get him. Like, I would say, you know what? Send David to Freddie Roach. Freddie's good with offense, guys. Or I know it's going to sound silly, and I think he's retired, but I wouldn't mind Abel Sanchez for David.
Did you say Sanchez or Sanchez?
I like to say Sanchez because I deliberately mispronounce everybody's name. You know I do that.
Abel, I've gotten word, Jules. Abel is retired. He'll come out for the right fighter if the fighter.
And he has a relationship with David. He has a relationship with David.
I would like Abel Sanchez gets a lot of shit, but here's what I know. He took that hairy Russian kid who looks like he's 40 years old. Murat Gassiev does not have no deep amateur background or none of that. And he took that kid to 2 alphabet titles at cruiserweight. If you could give David
he's been boxing for a while though. Like Murat.
I'm just saying, bro, that on the inside, look, Murat is not perfect by any stretch. I know that. But on the inside, you don't want to be there with that guy. You don't. Them punches is so short, and he
got skill to him though, bro. Like, yo, bro,
but that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly why Usyk didn't want that. Usyk didn't want to be nowhere near inside with him.
Why you think he kept him on the outside, kept shifting? Like, nah, you're not going to corner me, bro. I'm going to turn you. I'm going to turn you and turn you. Like, nah.
I ain't going to hold you, bro, because think about it. He took shots from Morris Breedis instead of fucking. You're right.
Yeah. That's the problem with these father coaches. It's almost becomes like a selfish relationship. Like, I'm your father. I'm your coach. I'm your trainer. And you're just holding the fighter down. And
I think that's definitely a problem. I could think of guys because, look, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel because I don't believe the perfect fighter exists. So I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. I believe make him better at what he's already good at, and he can be elite. That people will say things like, oh, the guy's one-dimensional. Bro, one dimension can get you through, but you got to be the best. You got to be if you an elite level pressure fighter, especially in this era, is seldom seen. An elite level pressure fighter will beat the shit out of a lot of people. But with his dad in the corner, I'm like, nah, bro, he can't take him to that other place. Now I know Freddie's old and Abel's retired, but I'm sure that there's an offensively minded coach out there that could sharpen what he already has, because he's a pressure fighter. You can't, if you try to turn him into something else, you know what happens? Jarrett Hurd happens. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's why I like him with Manny Robles. I like him with Robert Garcia.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like.
I would like, honestly. This is a stretch. I like him with Derek James.
Nah, Derek is better for boxer punches. If you look at all the guys that he had, and look, you know I don't like Spence, but they're good fighters. Jermell Charlo is a really good boxer puncher. Spence is a boxer puncher. Frank Martin is a boxer puncher. Anthony Joshua is a boxer puncher. I like Derek James for boxer punches, not pressure fighters. You gonna end up trying to turn David into a jabber and like nah. He need a jab, but he don't need to be a jabber. He need a jab, yeah, but a short jab. Like, look, Mark Ramsey, show him some of that shit you do with Artur, bro. Show him some of that shit. I like Mark Ramsey for him. But
do you agree, Mirage, that David, as long as his dad's in his corner, he'll never get him to that Hall of Fame elite level?
It's a bang, bro.
Okay, like I said, we're making all these leaps from one fight where he struggled. I think we need to let's see what happens in the next fight. We're dismissing all of a sudden he's flawed, needs to change. Yeah, there was limitations, but how much of this was just a bad matchup? But to me, let me just say, one issue I noticed, which was worrying, even when Caleb Plant slowed down in the later rounds, David was still only doing 1 and 2 punches. Like he's loading up, like he's working the heavy bag. The flurries, the natural flurries, which is his natural style, I didn't see that at all. It's almost like they've just changed. You need to focus on a fighter's best natural attributes and develop them. And if they're trying to change him into some power puncher, one puncher, you just change. He's not at his best, and that is worrying. Those sort of things. This was not the usual Benavidez, and it goes further than the opponent.
Well,
I think
to
it's
be fair, though,
a training issue.
David was guilty of a lot of things he's been accused of before, though. Like, to me, these are just bad habits. The fucking squaring up, forgetting to use your jab, not throwing your jab properly.
But he made up for it. He used to let his hands go. You got to let his
right.
At least
but
he made up.
You know why? You got to understand.
He did it by committing to that game plan where Caleb wilted. Like, we've never really seen David have to make an adjustment. Like, yeah, he didn't get those flurries off because he didn't make the adjustment necessary.
Look, and that's what I mean, that adjustments. Listen, David is never going to be and I don't mean this as good or bad. It's just pressure fighters.
Careful, Jules. Careful.
No, look, they don't pressure fighters, and I like pressure fighters, right? They make boxing fun. But they are not the fighters that make in-fight adjustments. They're not, bro. They stay in character. That's who they are. You talking about making in-fight adjustments? Who you talking about, like Andre Ward? Okay, that's a pure boxer. Who you talking about, Floyd? That's a pure boxer. Those are the guys that make in-fight adjustments.
Yeah.
Are we going to give
pressure
some credit
fighters don't adjust. Pressure fighters don't adjust to the rematch. But the problem, someone said a good point, that David has bad habits that he doesn't work on. And Mirage said, well, just a bad night. Like, Mirage, you can compensate them bad habits when you have inferior fucking opposition like David Lemieux in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like, let's keep it real though. Yeah. Like, you could Ronald fucking Graville, but all these dudes
but maybe he was limited just because this is just an awful style matchup. Let's see when he fights the next dude. Maybe
he
can.
Bro,
I
cannot. Wait, bro. This is what it is. You're not gonna like the sound of this, but this is what it is. One, it's not an awful style matchup. It's a style that favors him, and that's why he won. It's not an awful style matchup. It's that. Let me pull this bitch up again. I'm going
20 foot.
It's easier for me to pull it up.
Fighters don't adjust.
Ring with a mover.
No. I'm saying that. Look, let's say Caleb is a B- pressure, a pure boxer, right? He's a B-, just above
B+. I reckon he showed B+.
Let's give him. All right, then let's give him B+. Let's give him that.
Let's meet in the middle. B.
He's a B+ pure boxer. Based on what I saw, that would make David, you're either a B- pressure fighter or a C+ pressure fighter. You're going to win. You're going to win because you always have the advantage over the pure boxer, but you're not going to look good. You're not. You're not going to look good. You'll still win, though, because you have the stylistic advantage. Pure boxer don't got no advantage over no goddamn pressure fighter. They never do. Where the pressure fighter want to fight, you want to whole tail. And you think that one counter at a time, that's going to... No, it's not, bro. You're going to get found out. Zelfa Barrett got found out. Erislandy Lara got found out. Last night, Caleb Plant got found out, okay? That's what's going to happen. You don't have the firepower, which is consistent. It's like they're polar opposites. Let's go to Tony Harrison, Tim Tszyu. Here's what I mean. Tony Harrison wants to throw 1 and 2 punches at a time. Tim Tszyu is ready to fight till you fall. Till you fall or you make him fall. That's the pressure fighter. He's ready.
But Harrison didn't move. That motherfucker sat on the ropes like the whole fight. He's not
But let's he was retreating. But what I'm getting at was consistent with pure boxers that I notice. You don't have an engine. That's why you want to fight at a slow pace, because you don't have an engine for the action. If you start letting them go, you'll be depleted that much faster. Whereas pure pressure fighters consistently, they have engines. That's why they're pressure fighters. They can go. Just tell them. They'll go. That's your Provodnikov. That's your Mike Tyson. You had to beat the shit out of Mike Tyson to stop him. You had to fuck him up.
It's like a racehorse. It's like a racehorse versus a mule.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
But look, I don't like making excuses, but I haven't even brought up Bayless. That was a factor. That was a factor.
I don't get into that, bro, because it's on the fight. Look, you know Klitschko, bro. Klitschko,
I don't like it either, but
Klitschko made a whole fucking rain out of the jab clinch. Hitting and holding, it's as much a part of boxing as the gum shields and the gloves.
But do you
gotta
think,
be able to deal with it, bro?
Do you think, though, that just broadly speaking, like maybe that's something that should be penalized more, though, like excessive clinching? Like maybe that's
he didn't warn him. He should have been warned, surely. He didn't even warn him. Everybody's criticizing for that, legit.
Because I see both sides.
Different referees have different refereeing styles. Like I've seen referees, they won't let you hold, bro. They will not. So I'm of the opinion, and I'll go as far as saying this. I don't know this. I just feel it. If Kenny Bayless was there, it's because Caleb Plant negotiated for him to be there. He wanted a referee that would let him hold. I think that was
a 20-foot in and a 22-footer. Like he negotiated a lot of shit.
I agree, because that's the same thing Billy Joe Saunders did to Canelo. He wanted a bigger ring. That ring wasn't that size for no reason. And I don't think Kenny Bayless was there for no reason. But that speaks to my point that hitting and holding, as much as we don't like it, that shit is part of the sport, bro. Klitschko did that shit for years. Jab, jab, jab.
I agree, but at the same time, I do think clinching can be excessive, though. Like at some point, I
understand what you're saying.
I don't believe Caleb was guilty of that, but I have seen some fights where it's like,
come on, man,
just
yes,
being
he
a spoiler.
was.
Lennox
he was spoiling.
And he was spoiling.
But David was there to be clinching.
You know what these old school trainers say to all this shit you guys are saying? It's your job as the other fighter to stop him from fucking doing that. Not the fucking referee, not anything else. If he's doing fuck house shit, you got to do the fuck house shit back. That's boxing since it's fucking started.
That's why I don't have no excuses for David, because the main reason he was able to keep spoiling, right? You're not jabbing. You'll try for a big shot. He'll get under it and tie up. Then he'll turn and exit. That's what he was doing.
For the first 6 rounds, but let's give some credit. Once the clinching, he adjusted. He was breaking out of the clinch and rocketing with those short clubbing shots out of the clinch, and he did some serious damage. So late in the fight, he did adjust a little bit.
Okay, and Mirage, you're not doing this, Mirage, and I'll give you credit to that. The people complaining about Kenny Bayless on Twitter are the same ones that saying Andre Ward is a Hall of Fame GOAT for the same style he fucking implemented, and he was in camp with Caleb having him do this shit.
You know why? Do you know why I don't bring that up to Mirage? Because he's not those guys. Now, if we're going to talk about those guys, it's stupid, bro. You mad at Caleb for employing the same and it just so happens Andre Ward is his mans in them. So when
he was in camp.
when Dre hit and hold, oh, that's cool. But when Caleb hit and hold, oh, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Make up your fucking mind.
Can't forget about Devin Haney. They say the same thing for Haney too.
And you gonna see, Coach. I don't complain, bro. Hitting and holding is a thing. It's up to the fighter to figure out what we finna do about this. Cause I'll try for a shot and he'll tie me up. So maybe what I need to do is try a different shot, or maybe I need to time my entry a little better. Cause I'll try and he'll immediately tie me up. Maybe I need to do something different.
And you know what Manny Robles told me one
is
time?
A flaw too.
Manny Robles told me this one time. I'm like, Coach, what do you do when the dude's doing that fuck shit tying up? He's like, you either do it back or you hit him with a low blow, or you do something. You have to do something as a fighter to make that guy prevent him or second guess from doing the shit that he's doing. You got to deter it. You can't look to the ref. You can't look to nobody else but you. And that's why I don't make no excuses for a fighter that can't stop a guy from clinching.
And also, clinching can also be a flaw too. Like, to be fair, and to be fair to Mirage, he's right. Like, at some point when Caleb kept going for clinches, he started getting fucked up. Like, he started to pay for it. So it's not like, it's not a get out of jail free card.
Also, you got to understand this too. Yeah, if you excessively clinch, you can get disqualified. I brought up a fight. Lennox Lewis beat up the guy that knocked out John Fury, Henry Akinwande. And Akinwande, every time he got hit with a hard shot, he would hold on to it. So at the end of the day, it comes to a point in time if someone's excessively clinching, not like Akinwande, because I don't think Caleb Plant was excessively clinching like that.
I'll say, look, I'm going to say this. At the tail end of the fight, right? Caleb wasn't fighting anymore, and he didn't have the energy to move. So he was just leaning and spoiling and holding. And I did feel like, you ain't fighting no more, bro. You just holding, man.
In the 10th round, he was getting fucked up in the 10th round.
If the referee ain't gonna do nothing about it, is what it is. You gotta make it.
Yeah, you got to deal with it. Yeah, you got to deal with that shit. That's why I don't like excuses. Whatever happens, deal with that bitch. That's my philosophy.
And that's an indictment. I'm gonna ask Jules. That's an indictment on the corner, Jules. Because if you're in David's corner, you're gonna tell him, look, when you throw that punch, he's slipping and tying you up. So what do you advise your fighter to do to make that adjustment?
I'll tell him, set his ass up. He's not trying to fight no more. He's trying to clinch. So set him up. You approach him and take a half step back and shoot the upper. Walk his little bitch ass into an uppercut.
Yep.
And there was none of those fucking directions in the fucking corner, Mirage.
Yeah, that's gonna be David's downfall.
I heard his dad say you got to jab more. I don't know what round it was.
He never committed to it.
Yeah, I mean,
If there was one thing that I saw that, aside from constantly complaining about him not jabbing enough, what I would have asked him to do is, look, man, Caleb is not fighting no more. He is literally just trying to lean on you and smother. So set him up.
Yeah. Step back and let your hands go. Step back and let your hands go.
He could have stepped back.
Yeah, that was
up the jab and then nailed him with a shot, man.
See,
yeah,
but that's also that's also another thing where it's like a bad habit though with David. Like, this is something that he has been guilty for a long time. Like, his inability to manage distance.
I agree with that.
I mean, he's fucked. Look, he's fucked all these motherfuckers up. Generally, to me, we always have a mention like this was a huge moment, a huge stage. There is a lot of pressure. I think one factor, not an excuse, but I think it's reasonable. I think the pressure on the stage got to him a little bit, and he was just overthinking. There was a lot to lose.
Well, that's the problem.
No, but he's only 26. He's only 26. He's human.
That's phenomenal.
Nobody say nothing. Listen. My guy from Brownsville, Brooklyn, was 20 years old on a huge stage fighting Trevor Burke.
Fucking Tyson? Okay, Tyson, it was
I'm just saying,
an anomaly. Tyson was an anomaly. The guy's a fucking monster.
Right, what about Wilfredo Benitez? 17 years old, wins a world title.
Also,
I'll give you a more recent one. The pressure and the stage was set for Adrian Broner to fight Floyd. All he had to do was beat Maidana. What the fuck happened? Yeah. And that fight right there was a more launching pad for Maidana to get the Floyd fight than this one for Benavidez to get the Canelo fight.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about David's age, like, especially you, Mirage. Like, you're being a little weird because first it's he's the youngest WBC champion at super middle. youngest 2-time world champion and all that shit, but now he's not old enough to be able to make an adjustment. Like, come on.
Smokey
but
makes
it's
a
still
good point. If
yeah,
he
but
felt the
it's
pressure
still a
against
huge
Plant,
moment.
imagine
Canelo,
what he feel against Canelo.
yeah, but this is the path to the prize. If he loses so much. Once you get to Canelo, you've reached the top of the
Yeah, but
mountain. Then
isn't
whatever
every
happens.
isn't that pressure for David, who is an unbeaten fighter and a young unbeaten fighter? Isn't
Um,
that the pressure for every fight? Like, you lose the fight, you lose all the momentum. So I can't make that excuse.
It
Look,
depends where you're positioned. David was a huge favorite versus Canelo. I think you guys accept he's going to be the underdog, so that changes the pressure
no, they
dynamics.
might have
So
that fight. I could see them having that. I could see them having that fight at even money. And I'll go as far as saying I think I could see the odds makers having Canelo the slight underdog because people
well,
believe the hype. And when the money comes in, remember, when the money start coming in, that changes the odds. So if you got a lot
yeah.
of people that feel, yeah, David going to do it, David going to do it, that's going to change the odds, bro.
Yeah,
Well, I said like 6 months ago, if they do fight, don't be surprised if David's the favorite.
I
That's what I
could
said
see
like
the
6 months
betting
ago.
favorite. See, because like we see
Yeah,
this all the
the betting
time. Where like
favorite. Yeah.
the great, the great guy towards the end of his career, he has a couple of on the slump performances, but then he reminds us all why he's great. I think that's what's gonna happen in this fight. Like, I don't know. I feel like
that's true.
I don't
Yeah,
even think, honestly, though, I don't
I
think
feel
we're
like the
getting.
dude
I don't.
who predicted the Wall Street crash, like after that fight, like after seeing that fight, I'm like, man, I think Canelo's gonna eat him alive, genuinely.
I don't
Hey,
even think we're
I
going
want
to
to
get
see
that
it. Let
fight
it
though.
happen.
No,
I
Soon.
want it to happen. Let
now
that
let me
bitch
say
happen.
this. Let me just say this. This is why I'm picking Canelo. Stylistically, he has an advantage that I think the casual boxing fan doesn't really understand. They're both mid-range to inside fighters, both David and Canelo. But Canelo is a very small target, and he's not a target whose torso is static. He's not some Eastern Euro guy who doesn't move his torso. He fights at a slight crouch. He bends at the waist, bends at the knees, slips punches, rolls punches, bobs and weaves punches in the pocket. I don't think David's going to be able to hit him. I don't. The most he can hope to do is, look, I'm going to throw so much at him that maybe he gets tired and maybe
Why
I
wouldn't he be able to hit him, Jules? Why not? Over
too
12
fucking,
rounds.
bro, between the way he moves, right? Oh, Canelo's defense is angling his torso away from punches and bringing punches over. Between him being so fucking small and him moving the way he moved, I don't see David landing clean shots.
And you know what? This might a little off
He's
topic,
right
but
there to be
that's
hit.
what
You
made
can move your
Bivol.
head. What
Hold
about your
on.
body?
But that's what made Bivol like such a great and smart win, is that he didn't give in to his natural advantages of height and speed. Like, he made Canelo come to him. Like, he turned Canelo into
And
the
the
bull.
other thing is, I didn't see David go to the body enough
Yep.
with Caleb, who has a longer torso than Canelo. There was meaty body punches there that was there for the taking. He wasn't trying for them, bro. And you know, ring IQ, ring savvy. If this guy's got legs, where do we need to go? We need to go to the body.
And
Did
he
he
was
go?
talking about his legendary body shots in this training camp
He
in
throw
the
very
lead up,
many.
and he wasn't throwing it. Like, I was so perplexed by that.
Honestly, bro. So I see a situation to where his only hope of winning that fight is that he has a better engine than Canelo, but Canelo may have a substantial lead by the time we get to the late rounds. And don't forget that this is a different fight. You have to acknowledge that, even if you don't like Canelo, this is a different fight. You're fighting the best counter puncher so far at this weight. It's going to be stuff coming back at him that's hard and fast. And I guarantee you, he's not going to see them punches coming. He's not.
And it's
He's
so
probably
much more
gonna super chat.
nuanced. It's so much about the nuance, like Canelo's active guard, the feints, like the parries, all that little shit. Like,
If he was biting on Caleb's feints,
oh,
you don't think he's going to bite on Canelo's feints?
Yeah, but the difference is Canelo, again, he's going to be right in front of him. Caleb Plant was a mover. So in terms of body punching, Canelo can move his head all he wants. The body is going to be in front of David. That's a fact.
but
So
Canelo's
whether
gonna be
David
able to.
lets his hands go, we can talk about that. But Canelo's
But
going to be, his body's going to be there.
but Canelo's gonna be within striking distance, though. Like, that's like
Yeah, they're
it's a
going to fucking
paradox.
bang
Like,
it out. Yeah, they're going to bang
as
it
soon
out.
as
Sure.
Caleb, we saw that as soon as Caleb started using his legs and was moving around, was on the ropes, he started getting beat up even more. Like, it's not indicative of good defense to move around. Like, you got to be able to make someone
Not
miss.
necessarily.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when. No, I do know when. I do know when, and that's why it's like it's what I said before. Yes, Floyd would give up a bit of ground to set up a pull counter. Floyd would do that, and he was great at it, by the way, so I'm not knocking him. But it's like these guys immediately think that giving up ground is good defense. No, it's not. Good defense is being able to sit in the pocket and hold it and maintain it. That's good defense. Now, just staying on the perimeter of the ring and moving away, that's not good defense, bro. I don't know.
Well,
And they're also wrong about
That's
Floyd.
a
Floyd could
reluctance.
stay in
That's
the
a
pocket, too.
reluctance to engage. Floyd gave. Anytime you give up something in a fight, it's to get something back.
Yes. In other words, you don't just end up with your back on the ropes for no reason. And they're using an exception to the majority as the example for everyone. Like, no, Floyd could give up ground and still piece you the fuck up. Yeah, he could do that. But most of these guys is not doing that. They're giving up ground because, I don't want to sit in the pocket with this guy. I need to slow this fight down. That's why they're giving up ground.
They're
That's
also giving up ground when they're getting beat up because they're getting beat up and pressured to death. Like, that's also.
And you know who taught Floyd that? Buddy McGirt was telling us a story from Ronnie Shields. Pernell Whitaker taught him and Zab Judah that by beating their ass drunk off a 24-pack in the gym when they were just turned pro.
Bruh. They associate. It reminds me of the Conceição versus Valdez fight. You got guys that see Conceição literally moving away from, like, you're doing the opposite of how you started the fight. When you started the fight, you was stepping into your jab with straight punches, and you was making him feel some type of way. The second half of the fight, you just on your bike. Why do you think being on your bike is winning the fight? I don't understand. Like, no, you not winning the fight doing that. Unless you now, here's the caveat. If you on your bike, but you keep nailing him with straight shots and he not really able to do nothing to you, okay, then you're okay. Long as you're landing, you're okay. These guys don't be landing.
Mirage just dared Lady Chan to come on the chat.
I'm calling out Lady Chan. She's smoking in chat. I'm saying that doesn't count, Lady Chan. I don't know who the fuck you are. Get on the panel if you want real smoke.
Oh shit! Here we go.
No,
Lady Chan might smack
everybody. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room. Let's go. Let's go.
Mirage has summoned Lady Chan. This is
I want. This is not going to end good for Mirage.
Hey, Jules.
Now this is the pay-per-view I'd pay for.
Hey, Drew.
Michael's back.
I'm here, Coach. What'd you say, Coach?
Nah, you was right about that. When I interviewed Buddy McGirt, he told me that story about he said that Pernell Whitaker had he lined, I think it was Floyd Mayweather, Zab Judah, and it was somebody else. That was in 1996.
He sparked each one of them. What was it, like 4 rounds each, and he saved Floyd for last while he was drinking beers in between rounds.
He's a Capricorn, bro.
And Floyd couldn't hit him.
What up, Jules? What up, guys? What up, Mirage? What up, everybody? I was going to let him live as well.
Oh, about time. Okay, what do you have to say?
Oh, the chat warrior. Who's she? The chat warrior. I was going to let him live. Now let's rock. Let's go on. Let's talk about this fanboyism. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. Benavidez looked like trash. Okay,
he still won the fight, and he still won that bitch.
We don't interrupt Lady Chan when she's cooking. Okay.
All right, you can cook.
All right. Let me set the ground rules. When somebody talking, let them finish. I don't need 3 guys chiming in. I need Lady Chan to talk to Mirage. Okay, y'all got it?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
It's all in the name, Mirage. It doesn't exist like your boxing knowledge. It only
shit.
It's elusive. It's see-through.
Oh shit.
It's the best name. And you come there, fanboy for David Benavidez. At least there's one fanboy. Everyone deserves one fanboy. You're the only one that I know. But shouts out to you. Shouts out. Bless you.
Yo, round 1 to Lady Chan. Round 1.
Is she done? Am I allowed to speak now? Am I allowed to speak to the lady?
To speak when I finish, of course. Look, greatness.
Okay, let me know.
Bow in the presence of greatness. Go ahead.
Oh shit.
So, Lady Chan, I'll give you credit for coming on the panel, for having the balls to come on the panel.
Bro,
so respect.
Panel before you was conceived. What are you talking about?
Oh shit.
Yeah, but you were talking nonsense in chat, so I'm great. So
anyway, next, Julius, this was light work. I told him in the panel on the chat this would be light work. I tried to be a troll and just troll in the chat to see how it was being a troll, because it was quite fun. You know me, don't back down, undisputed from long time on these YouTube boxing streets. Go and Google me, Mirage. My career really does
Are you a
it.
somebody? Are you a
My
somebody? I don't
career
know who the fuck
does
you
it.
are.
My career really does
You're a
it. Tricks.
content
Like
creator.
yours.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a career. I'm not. I mean, is it related to boxing or some other areas, which I'm suspecting right now?
That's the presence of greatness, babes. We
It's the
don't
boxing.
believe you. You need more people.
Okay, so I'm a David supporter, but hey, David at the end of the day, he won the fight. That's
Yeah,
the bottom
we
line.
acknowledge
And
that.
you
And
were talking
I
shit. Who's your boy? I want to know. I want to know.
I
Put it out
predicted.
there.
Don't
Who do you
overtalk me.
support,
I
Lady Chan?
don't overtalk me. I predicted a David Benavidez win. I thought he would knock out Caleb Plant in round 9 or 10. Unfortunately, I'm very disappointed in David Benavidez. I'm not a fangirl or a fanboy for anybody. I did style for style matchup. I predicted a Benavidez win. So what you got to say about that? All I'm saying is he looked like trash. He came in underweight than Caleb. So to me, it looked like there was some kind of draining because even after rehydration, if you looked at him in the corner, David Benavidez by round 1 was gassing him up his own self. Go look at what he looked at in round 1 in the corner at the end of round 1. Gone, the eyes straight away. His mouth was open by round 2. And I mean, I give him credit because we knew Caleb Plant's a 6-round fighter. We always know this. We always know this. So that's why I predicted. That's why, Mirage, I do what I do and I does what I does.
I don't.
Anyway,
Okay, I don't know what you do
on.
except run your mouth in chat. I don't know generally what you do,
Don't
but
run your mouth. You got a lot of smoke.
we can agree.
I hate
We
bums
can.
that smoke for women, but when people when
I got smoke for everybody.
you ain't got no smoke. You tried to come on the panel about no, listen up. This is what I'm gonna say. No, you're not gonna say nothing now that I never on this panel. Not while I'm here. You're gonna keep it a
Well,
buck. If you
hey, Lady Chan. Hey,
I'll give you
hey.
$99 back. I'll give
I
you
appreciate.
$99
Hey,
back and send you back.
I
to the
appreciate talking to you. I actually enjoy talking to you, even though you're a bit of a motor mouth.
Appreciate
I do enjoy talking to you. So look, we can agree.
Appreciate it.
Hey, is it my turn? So
yeah,
we
sorry.
can agree. David wasn't at his best. I agree. We agree, but he still won the fight. So that deserves respect on its own, Lady Chan. So are you going to respect David Benavidez for pulling it out?
We predicted it, babes. We predicted it. So it's not a big thing. We predicted it. It's not like I was out banging down saying Caleb Plant's going to beat Benavidez. We are boxing analysts, content creators.
I don't know about you. I wouldn't go that far with you.
That's the other. But I do want to say this. I do want to say this.
Channel.
I do want to say this that it's not like ahead of the fight we toured because I know I didn't tear him down. I expected better, and he didn't live up to my expectations. So that's the energy that I have. They're like, no, you didn't even do what I thought you was gonna do. You literally looked less than I thought you was gonna. You put out less than what I thought you was gonna put out. So yeah, for me, that hurt his stock. I do think it hurt his stock, at least with me. If other people want to still be hot, by all means, go ahead. You entitled to your opinion.
No, it did. It did hurt. Even with me, I've already said it. I was disappointed. Even yesterday when I was I watched the fight after I was inebriated a bit, but I watched it today. I'm still disappointed, sure. But even considering that, hey Chan, just relax. He still won. He still won the fight. And I'm open-minded. Well, I'll give him a chance. You know, every fighter deserves a break. I mean, Terence Crawford, he hasn't looked like the man in every single fight. You don't dominate.
Mirage knows how to press buttons.
Mirage,
I don't know.
Crawford stopped every at fucking welterweight.
Jules, this is what fanboys do. They deflect.
This is not about Crawford. This ain't about Crawford because look, whether you want to accept it or not, Crawford is a consensus. He's a consensus pound for pound fighter. He is in fact a 3-division former undisputed 2-time lineal, 2-time Ring Magazine, current reigning champion. And David is none of those things, bro.
Crawford is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Wait, one at a time. Wait, one at a time, because one of my biggest beefs with David is, you wait good up until Canelo comes here, and once Canelo gets here, it's Canelo's way on Canelo's time for Canelo's dime. But you were here before him. You had the chance to make yourself something so that when you get here, and I harped about this for a year, it was the year before the pandemic hit, because I was upset that I seen Samson say that shit. And I'm like, this dude gonna fuck around and you gonna fuck it up. you better not wait till Canelo get here to start worrying about belts. Beat Caleb now so that Canelo, he got to see you. And then if he don't see you, it is what it is. But
Julius, can I say something? I have to agree with Mirage because Crawford hasn't looked his best in some fights. For example, the Abanesian fight, he went to the distance, a 12 rounds decision. I don't think he looked that good.
Hey, Sophia
And
says
the Kell Brook
do not
fight that
necessitate
also
tattoo.
went to the distance.
Right, back on lane day.
he went the distance with Benavidez. Benavidez's brother.
When
Yeah.
does Benavidez go next? For real, for real.
Honestly, I don't actually, as much as I want Canelo to fight him, the next sensible fight, if just whatever, right? Politics of boxing and whatever. I think the fight that makes the most sense for David, and I would favor him to win it, is the Andrade fight. I do think he'll stop Andrade. I think he'll stop him. And the reason I like that fight, and I think that's an important fight for David, is Andrade, in spite of not having a lot of fans, he's a known guy. He wants Canelo just as bad as you. And if you eliminate him, and in a way that he's an unbeaten fighter, he's obviously never been beaten. And if you eliminate him, I would view that as more of a statement than yesterday's fight. And I do believe that he would stop him. I'm very confident he stops Andre.
Yeah, Andre's legs are gone, and that was his only chance anyway. But I agree. Like I think what's next for David should be the boxing gym because this dude makes way too many mistakes at that level.
I'll just tell you that based on what I saw in the Nicholson fight, right? This guy's there for the taking. Like Andre is there for the taking, and irrespective of the polarizing views that the different factions of fans have, just I as a consumer, forget ring IQ. If I shut down everything right now, just forget all of that. As a consumer, I like that fight because, all right, he wants Canelo. You want Canelo. He talks a lot of shit. You don't really talk a lot of shit, but your father does. You know what I mean? This guy never been beat. He supposed to be some type of boogeyman to people. He supposed to be this and that. If you go in there and stop him, and I think he can, I believe that would legitimately raise his marquee value. I believe it would.
I prefer Canelo just to beat down David Benavidez.
Oh, me too. I mean, me. If
Hey,
it's
Lady
like
Chan,
close-
how long have you been watching boxing? Did you just like start a few years ago or something?
Oh shit!
Man's here. 1 second.
If it's up to me, Canelo Benavidez is next. If that's not next, it's time for somebody to deal with Demetrius. And the reason, another part of it, it's not just the Canelo angle. It's the Jermall Charlo angle. Jermall, you got unfinished business with this guy. And look, man, you don't want to finish it. You don't want to finish it. If David finished it for you, then it turns into, okay, I took care of your man. Now you come here. I'm going to take care of you. See,
But it's also beneficial for David because if he's serious about beating Canelo and taking that torch, he needs the extra seasoning. Like, yeah, you probably should get in with Andre.
And not even that. I'll add to this.
He needs to fight this year again. 100%.
If David really wants the torch and he wants a 40% of the cut, he goes stops fucking Andre. He goes stops Charlo. And Canelo cannot, and Morel or whatever. Just two of those three. He comes to the table, I can get 35, 40%.
That's
what people don't understand.
It's not just for the check.
The situation that they have, and because this is a polarizing subject that should not be polarizing, but it's just the internet. It's just the way it is. But to me, look, Canelo, no Canelo, whatever. There are 3 prime targets that you can take out that I know for a fact they would raise your marquee value, that nobody nowhere would be able to say shit. Nobody could say nothing. And I do think he beats those guys. I think he beats Andre. I think he beats Charlo. I think he stops him. All right.
And he probably needs to.
I'm surprised to hear you say that, actually.
Hang on.
I've always picked Benavidez to stop Charlo.
What was the Benavidez fanboy? What did you ask me? Mirage?
He asked you how long.
I asked you how long you've been watching boxing. You're obviously a newcomer to the sport. How long's it been? Like a few years?
Guys on the panel, could you tell him about me and what I do?
Is Lady Chen at somebody? Because I don't know who the fuck she is.
Well, go and do your research, you bum.
Okay, I'm going to Google you after we finish talking. I'm going to Google you, okay?
Because I
and and I want to be impressed. I have high expectations.
I come up. I'm there. You're a
It's
mirage.
done them season, Mirage. You don't know nothing about that.
Stalk you. I'm gonna stalk you on Google a bit later.
Go ahead, babes. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what?
You're from the UK, so that's already a bad start.
Let
But I'll
Coach
give you
go.
a
Let
chance.
Coach
You're
go.
from
Yeah.
Australia, where your internet doesn't even get.
Yeah,
to
you wish you were here, Lady Chan.
I've
You
been
wish you
there
were Australian.
twice. I've been in Oz twice. I've been in Bondi. I went to the Blue Mountains. I was in fucking where's the other place that begins with M?
No, I don't. No.
The city. The
Mirage,
city.
she's also a rapper entertainer too. On top of it,
Really?
Melbourne. That's it.
Yeah.
Melbourne. I've been there.
Okay, I'll check you out. I'll let you know if I'm
Right, I
impressed.
don't need
He's
lame
also
followers.
your
I'm not
boss.
impressed. I'm not
You're
impressed
too
so
lame.
far.
You're
Maybe
too lame to
we'll
follow
see.
you. You're too lame.
All right. Okay.
Okay, now
Yeah.
everybody calm down. Everybody
I
calm
think
down.
one
But
foul
yeah,
swoop.
look, just
Right.
back to being productive. And let me read the super chats because
This
they're
guy
piling
always
up.
vote for women. You ain't got
Let
no
me-
vote for men, fam. Fuck
Let,
off.
Oh shit.
let me read the super chats. Dudes at the urinals talking about Canelo being scared. I seen your
No.
video, D Styles. It was hilarious. Undefeated Journeyman says, just hopped on. Was there a Bud EJ fight announced this weekend? Unfortunately, there wasn't. I want to say, look, if it's their goal, and I believe it is, because why wouldn't it be? If it's their goal to turn David into a pay-per-view attraction who can sell on his own independently, irrespective of chasing around Canelo, which I think is ridiculous, if you do this right, you don't have to chase Canelo. He will come to you. And that's reality. And David is young. He's 26. He's in his mid-20s. Keep him active. Get him 3 more fights. If you want to build him as box office fights, that's between you, Showtime, and God, right? Whatever. But he needs to fight three more times this year. I believe the next fight, if it can't be Canelo, for whatever reason, I don't care.
Yeah.
You got to keep him working. And
Yeah.
I think Andre, that's the fight, bro. Take care of that guy.
Hey, the
Jules.
homie Ricky says this is more exciting than Plant versus Benavidez.
Hey, Jules. You know what?
We'll
I
see
didn't
him.
even think about that, right? Because I want to see Canelo go ahead and fight Benavidez, especially that'll kill all of this. If David Benavidez really is a Mexican monster, I love calling him the Mexican monster because Mike Tyson called him that, and I'm not gonna lie, it's funny. It's very funny to me, and it pisses a lot of people off. So I always say it. But you're right. If Canelo was to go fight Bivol, then what will build David Benavidez's stock is to fight the fighters that are on his side of the street, Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. If you were to do that, you knocked off Caleb Plant, if you beat Demetrius Andrade, and then if you fight Jamal Charlo, we still don't know if he's going to move up to 168 or not. That's another question. But at least if you fight that guy, I totally agree with that. I didn't even look at it that way, but you're right.
Yeah,
but I just want to reiterate, like, not just for his legitimacy, but for him to get better. Like, he should breathe a sigh of relief if Canelo goes to Bivol first, because that'll give him more time to like really season and try and fix some of those bad habits.
We shouldn't talk about age, because look, do we question Shakur Stevenson? How old's he?
No,
what are you doing?
We
So
don't.
The same age as David.
So let's not come with this excuse, oh, he's 26, because there's lads that are younger that's done better. So
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. My whole thing is that the way that this conversation is often had, it's like, oh, it's Canelo or bust. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nah, like, it's not Canelo or bust. You still got a career that you need to have irrespective of that one fight. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Otherwise, you end up like Demetrius. Why you think his career is the way that it is? All these years, you've been putting your eggs in one basket, and you don't have no real wins to show for it. Nobody sits around talking about the great Demetrius Andre fight. Nobody, bro, because you made your whole life and your whole career about one guy. Well, while you doing that dumb shit, look, Samson, get that motherfucker in the ring. He is ready. Get his ass in the ring, and I'll beat him. And I do believe David will beat him. He will stop him.
You know what? If he still had his legs, because Andrade's legs have gone, if this was just about 3 years ago, I would give Andrade a better chance of definitely outboxing and beating.
A better chance, but this is the thing about Andre. Andre, he starts off he don't have the style for this fight. I'll tell you, he's a pure boxer. No, you don't have the style for this fight. You'll get got too. Two, Andre, it's like I feel like people look at him and they want him to be something that he's not. Andre, like Caleb Plant, characteristically gasses in fights. Like clockwork.
Yeah.
He fades down the stretch. He'll start off real strong and he'll get a little knockdown off of Jason Quigley or somebody like that, and then he'll fade. I think David, he stops that dude, bro. Also, he 34 now. Them legs, man. Them legs.
If we would have took him before, who did Andrade fight? Liam
Williams.
And did he get knocked?
He got rocked by Liam Williams.
Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, that's not even I think his chin. But what I'm saying, if we would have had an Andrade 3-4 years ago, then when you've given him, because Benavidez don't cut off the ring.
I would off the styles. Look, the only way Andre would have won that fight 3-4 years ago is on the premise that David was a greener fighter. Stylistically, he's a pure boxer. David's a pressure guy. We know how that goes. 9 times out of 10, we know how that goes. You don't hit hard enough and you don't throw often enough to keep this man off you. And when he takes your best and he don't stop, you're going to retreat. And then it's going to turn into him moop off the rope, because you don't hit hard enough to stop him. You didn't hit hard enough to stop Desmond Nicholson. You're not stopping him.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a stoppage. All right, another question. One more question. I'll let the lads cook. If Benavidez had the balls to go up to 175, who would win out of him and Bivol?
Nah, you don't beat Bivol, man.
He's food at 175.
Bivol, man. Like
I don't think David beats many 175ers at all.
I think he beats Watsi.
The ideal fight to break, and it probably won't happen, but I would love it because I know that it would be a thoroughly entertaining fight. That they don't tend to think of things outside of the box. You just going through the motions with the stupid Canelo shit. Yeah. If I was him, I want to break into 175, but I'm not ready for a better Beav, and I'm not ready for a Bivol. What do? Get Zerto Ramirez in the ring.
I said that. That's what I just said. I said that about 2 hours ago.
Get him in the ring.
Against
that dude is not motivated. You could beat him. That dude is not motivated.
50-50 fight though of them two.
No, it's not. And the things I've been hearing about Zerto Ramirez.
They're both cruiserweight.
And it's the perfect fight for their audience. Like,
Drew, why are we talking about 175? David is a 168 fighter. Why are you demanding David moves up? What the fuck is that?
That's only on the premise that he were to move up. That if
he'll move up eventually. He'll fuck those guys up eventually.
No, he's not. I mean, I don't think by the time that he moves up the light heavyweight, I believe the landscape will be different. However, if y'all know how to do this, it's not hard. You look at the ranks, you see who's coming through. Outside of the top guys right now, Bivol and Better Beef, it's looking abysmal for light heavyweight for the next couple.
Even cruiserweight, those divisions, we all know they're fucking lackluster.
Nah, I don't know about cruise. You don't talk about them cruisers.
Dude, Jack just won the championship, bro. 30. How old are you? 38.
Be
Holy
real.
Shit.
No.
39. He just won the championship. What the fuck?
Mirage, would you pick David to beat Jay Opataya?
No.
I'm picking David, bro. I'm picking David.
You're
Come on.
Crazy, bro. You serious? You're not.
No, this is recency, Jules. This is recency bias. No, this is recency bias.
You telling me with a straight face you would pick David to beat Jay Opataya?
Bro, the David that fought yesterday would get his
David
ass
didn't look his best.
whooped.
Now we're dogpiling on David.
I'm not
the janitor's going to beat him. Now the janitor's going to beat him.
Come
on, man.
Bro, this is not. It's literally just style.
According to you, Mirage, even if someone wins and it is a horrible display, at least they got the win. That was.
I keep telling you guys, bro. This Mirage guy is trolling. This is just an act.
He's not a terrible display. I mean, he beat a top number one ranked fighter.
Like the Bill Clinton kid, Michael.
Yeah, this is him. Like this is really him for David. I don't know why David out of everybody, but he's not serious. He's not serious, bro.
Bro, I know damn good and well.
Bro, I'm always fucking serious, motherfucker.
I know
around.
damn good and well you would not pick David to beat J.O.
He
Pataya.
was
You
a
better
fanboy.
stop.
Godzilla versus David. Who wins?
David, unanimous decision.
David must split.
Did all I want to know is did Chaim pay up and did Jules get his percentage?
I still haven't gotten my cut.
Fanboy.
Well, you tried to pay.
Where is
I
where is
will pay
Chaim?
up, man.
It's
He
almost
was
like
just
he's missing in
drunk.
action. Almost as if he's ducking. Is it
Hey,
just me?
listen. There will not be any Mexican monster hate going on today.
At Mirage's house.
The Ecuadorian monster, man.
The Mexican
Ecuadorian
monster.
Cocaine monster.
Hey Drew,
Coach,
every time I say
Coach, you're welcome anytime out here, Coach.
Hey,
Dinner
Coach,
on me,
it's okay.
drinks.
We'll just all hate on Mirage, man.
We got to get Julius out here
Hey.
for one
Calling
season.
him Mexican monster is a disrespect
Hey,
to the Chupacabra.
It's 9 versus 1. I can take that. I can take that shit. Let's
Coach,
fucking go.
Coach, we
I can
gotta
take
get
the punches, man. I'm from
we
Australia.
gotta get Julius out here for one of these round tables.
Look, since he stopped
Oh yeah, man, for real.
plays, no.
Soon enough, fellas. Soon enough. But what I'm going to say is, look, man, before I close it out because I'm getting sleepy. David looked like shit. We can all admit that. He
We all know
And
that.
he still won, Jules, and he still won.
I know.
How about that?
I know that, but I picked him to win, Mirage. So you're singing to the choir.
Yeah,
I
my
picked him to
expectations were
win.
higher.
David could fight.
Okay,
Thanos
mine
and
were as
Mirage
well.
would
Mine
pick
were as well, but he
David,
still
man.
dragged
you
out
were
the win.
wrong.
So that deserves
So
respect.
we were all wrong.
Fire still traded someone. What's your point?
Yeah, like he won, but
boy.
we thought he was gonna win. Like Lady Chan thought he was gonna win. I thought he was gonna win. You thought he was gonna win. So it's not being disrespectful per se. It's just that, bro, you didn't live up to my expectations. I thought you was gonna stop this guy.
Me too.
Yeah, like I'm
I mean,
admitting I'm
yeah.
wrong. I thought he was gonna knock out Caleb Plant and outclass him.
But
That
what
didn't
does
happen.
what does it say about David? We all agree he was going to stop the number 1 ranked super middleweight in the division. That
What-
deserves some fucking credit.
No,
Who was
But
the
what
number one
about the
ranked
reality
middleweight?
though? What
No.
about what actually happened? Which
Who was the
wasn't
number
that.
one? Wait, who was the number 1 ranked super middleweight? Not Caleb.
The champion is the champion. Then you got David number 1, Caleb Plant number 2. So yeah, Caleb was number
I
2.
don't know
Sorry,
that. No, wait a minute. That's not across the board, bro. I just looked at a set of ranks with
Rings
John
rankings.
So well, if you just want to go off a ring, yeah, go ahead. But nah, bro.
Well, he's a top dude. He's a top dude. We can argue.
Listen, I'll concede that he's a top guy. I'm not
Yeah.
petty. He's a top guy. My thing
Yeah.
with Caleb is, okay, you had one fight in between the time you got knocked out by Canelo and now. You know what I mean? You have one fight. So I'm not gonna be over. And it was Darrell, bro. Darrell is not that guy. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. I mean,
like, come on, like that's the dude I seen going life or death with Yildirim. Like, come on now, bro. Like, I seen a domestic level UK prospect a year ago knock out fucking Yildirim, bro. Darrell was going through the gears with the motherfucker. I'm like, see, this the shit I be talking about. Yeah, I think motherfuckers nice just because they from over here. That is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, sorry. He won. We predicted the win, but he looked like trash. That's it. The end.
Yeah.
Mirage would spit shine Benavidez' jockstrap.
No, we ain't gotta do that. We classy out here. We are classy.
Hey, I've been critical today of Benavidez. Let's put that on the fucking record.
I'll give you that. You have, man. You have.
David's still the man. Don't get carried away. But it was disappointing because let's be real. I had a lot of material lined up. If David fucked that kind of plan, I was gonna literally let it. I was gonna let some fucking shit go, but I got to hold it back. It didn't happen, so I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save my fucking the fucking firepower for next time.
Yes, save it for another day.
Yeah, it's there, but
you're under his ball bags. That's how far down under.
I reckon you'd enjoy that as well, Lady Chan. To be honest, I don't know. You're missing out. Maybe you're missing out.
No, so you're gay then, are you? I'm not.
Oh,
shit. Man, y'all not gonna
anything wrong with that?
Y'all not gonna get me flagged out here.
What's wrong with being gay, Lady Chan? I mean,
Well, if you
Yo,
are,
Mirage, you gotta throw in the towel, bro. She already won.
You are, babes. If you are, you are. Come
haven't
out.
you watched Seinfeld? Like, what's wrong with that?
IQ show. You've just came out the closet. Respect. Round of a fucking applause.
This is such a progressive show.
I respect Lady Chan for coming on the panel. I look
Chan.
forward to talking to you in the future. So it's been enjoyable.
Where is this conversation going, man?
I don't know.
When you look her up, type in Dundam season. You'll get her channel, bro.
Yeah,
All right.
on my live where I can.
Yeah, y'all should stage a debate. Y'all should stage a
I'll
debate.
think
Y'all
about
should
it.
date. I'm
Wait,
not
I
gonna
need a
lie.
competition. I need a
Are you
competition.
into Australians, Lady Chan? Do you like Australians in
Yeah,
general?
I'm getting a lot of sexual
I
tension
like
between you
Australia.
two.
Yeah, I sense sexual tensions. I think somebody has an erection, and it's not me.
Hey, we'll take it to DMs. We'll take it to DMs, Lady Chan. We'll organize that shit.
What a
Alright.
weird way to use your
You go in my
Capricornian powers.
queue. Go in the queue. Where...
The only reason he's got there's a hard on is because he's talking about David Benavidez, man.
Well, you know, I mean, she got the sultriness, so I could tell, she got the sultriness, so I could tell that Mirage is interested. He's miraging right now.
At the moment, I'll be honest, I'm more attracted to David Benavidez and Lady Chan.
Hey,
So far.
Hey, you didn't have to tell us. You didn't have to tell us. We knew.
Nah.
We knew. You know.
Don't get carried away. I'm just keeping it real, but that can change.
Nah, we know. Just keeping
That
it
can
real.
change, Lady Chan. Don't give up yet. Don't
Don't
give
give
up.
another man.
You keeping it real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm
Somebody
happy
cue
for
the
you.
YMCA song, man.
Julius, make sure you cut
Real
this
deal
bit
Mirage
so
fan.
that Mirage came out on your show.
I can't believe you came out and said that.
It's not official. That's not official.
Yo, I'm keeping it
Yeah,
real.
I
David's
was,
super
I
handsome.
was, I was, you know what I mean? Like you caught me off guard with that one. You hit me with a check left hook, bro.
Hey,
Yo, to me, what's killing me is he said he's keeping it real. Like, yo,
I'm
David's
passionate,
really
bro.
handsome.
I'm a
keeping it real.
passionate supporter. I have passion. I'm a supporter. At the end of the line,
Hung from his mad
passionate
cheese,
supporter.
damn it.
It's cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a little bit more than support, fam.
Yeah.
Well,
You
David's
came
kind of
out.
hot. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
You swinging from his cheese, bro, man. What's up with that?
Yo, he said his cheese.
Swinging from his ball bags. It's sad, isn't it?
Oh shit! What is happening tonight? Look, man, I'm
getting freaky on this Sunday.
I blame Lady Chan. Lady Chan's to
Oil
blame.
David down.
Getting
Just to
freaky
keep it
out
real.
here.
It's Lady Chan's fault completely.
To the Blue Oyster Bar for Police Academy.
She derailed this shit completely. Lady Chan, it's her fault.
Listen, man.
Oh,
Everybody here, y'all have a good night, and y'all go bust some nuts and be healthy psychologically and all the good stuff, right?
Been fun, gentlemen. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Have a great night, you guys.